Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into Cosmere Chronicles, the podcast we follow two first-time readers, Justin and Sheta. We chronicle their journey through Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere series. On today's episode, we'll be chronicling the Stormlight Archive, the Way of Kings, Interlude 4 through Chapter 31. So now it's time to throw it over to the host of Cosmic Chronicles. This is Joe. Thank you, Joe. Yep, everyone, welcome back once again. This is Cosmic Chronicles, as you already heard from the other Joe, and I'm Joe. And I will be joined today by, hold on, let me check, Justin and Sheta. How are you two doing today?
Hi, my name's Justin. I'll be one of your guest speakers for today, who's never been on the podcast before.
That's so funny, Justin. I'm the usual Sheta that's on the show.
Yep. Hope everyone enjoys us for our TED Talk today.
Yes. We'll be talking about random shit that you have no context for.
Just life and this and that.
Yep. So let's just start off with our usual random questions. We'll start off. What is your favorite TED Talk? Go.
I don't have a favorite fucking TED Talk. Maybe the one where that guy made a mockery of the whole thing that I saw once a long time ago. Otherwise, I don't know anything about it, and I don't really care.
I don't think I actually know what TED Talks are. I only ever hear people say that phrase.
They used to be something where a pseudo-expert would go up and talk about something. Then they became something you can just pay to do, so anyone could do them.
Okay. Well, let me just go ahead and ask. I don't think I ever asked it. Who is your favorite Power Ranger? Go.
The Green Ranger. He's fucking awesome. Easy.
Which Green Ranger?
The Green Ranger. You know what I'm saying.
So Tommy.
Yes, of course. Who the fuck was going to say the Green Ranger and not specify they're
not
talking
Tommy,
about
no.
someone who's not Tommy?
There could be somebody that says somebody else.
Got long hair, he does karate better than anybody, he rides in a fucking dragon, uses a flute to call it in, all kinds of badass shit.
Yep. He's the reason why all the boys had a ponytail back in the day.
Sheta, your Power Ranger?
I didn't grow up watching Power Rangers or anything, but I always liked the Yellow Ranger because I did get my mom to buy me one of those cool belt thingies that had a lenticular image on it, and I wore it to school.
Belt thingy should tell you about how deep into Power Rangers lore she is.
I know.
Yeah, if people don't know, if you don't know this, in Japan, the original Super Sentai series, that season that they had, there was only one female ranger, that was the pink one. The rest were men. In America, they took... So any of the footage of them fighting in costume and stuff for the first season Power Rangers was all Japanese footage. So the Yellow Ranger technically in the fighting footage was a guy. But they changed it to a female, and that's also why, the Pink Ranger was the only one that had a skirt.
Yes, this is why I like the Yellow Ranger. Because I was like, I don't want to wear a dress. I want to wear cool. I would just want to wear the same as the other Rangers if I was a Ranger. That's what my thinking was.
It gets more confusing when you get to seasons 2 and 3 of Power Rangers, where they did not want to have to change the costumes because I think that they probably didn't want to confuse kids. So they kept the season 16 of Super Sentai, but then they changed Tommy to the White Ranger, who was a character from season 17 of Super Sentai. So it's this whole weird thing that goes on with that.
Sorry, is this Power Rangers trivia hour?
Right. Who cares? I'm just kidding.
Okay. Sorry.
Power Rangers was an American show. The Japanese had no part in making it whatsoever. All the footage was always ours. I'm going to stand by that. I'm going to totally rewrite history here. I'm, of course, talking about the American live-action movie, which was the best version of Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah. That was my first.
Oh, no, not the old one. The new one.
Oh,
the one that's clearly sponsored by Krispy Kreme.
Well, So my favorite Power Ranger, it would be Jason, the original Red Ranger. I liked him. I thought he was cool. But a close second would be Adam, the second Black Ranger. He was awesome.
Ooh, I liked him too. He was the cutest one.
He was also played by Johnny Youngbosch, who later becomes a big anime VA.
Oh.
My second favorite will be when the Green Ranger became the White Ranger.
That's still Tommy. That's the same guy. You need to pick someone else.
That's my second favorite. And
you said Ranger.
I stand.
Mm-hmm.
I want to watch the Power Rangers.
You should watch through the Japanese stuff.
She said she wants to watch through Power Rangers.
Yeah, not Super Sentai.
All right, and here we go. I don't think we ever answered this one. Who is your favorite Pokemon?
Jeez. I like Haunter. He's a cool, mean-looking purple ghost. So, he's the coolest one.
I thought in the past you've told me your favorite was Horsey.
My favorite was Horsey when I was a kid. I loved Horsey so goddamn much. Now that I'm a refined adult, I pick Haunter.
You just want to look cool.
If I wanted to look cool, I'd go with the more out of left field answer, not like a generically cool looking one. I'll go with a second favorite when you say yours in case I steal somebody's.
Okay. I always liked Oddish, probably because he was the easiest to draw, but that's the one I like.
Ditto would be easier to draw.
Yeah, but I thought Oddish was cuter.
All right. For me, mine's a little weird because it's Grimer. And I guess
Grimer and Muck, both of them?
For some reason, I've always been drawn towards the poison type Pokemon. Grimer and Muck I like, Coughing, Wheezing, Ekans, Arbok.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I don't know. Apparently I'm a member of Team Rocket.
I guess.
I just always liked poison. But after Grimer / Muck, another Pokemon I always really liked it's a newer one from Gen 4. It was Rotom. I just thought it was so cool, especially with Platinum, where you can change it so it's like lawnmower mode, refrigerator mode, all sorts of that, and slightly change the moves. That I just thought was so cool, and I did do one playthrough using that Pokemon with it. Rotom was fun.
Is that what Pokemons are doing nowadays? What? Turning into vacuum cleaners?
Well,
no,
so
that's Digimon.
Sheta, what it was, so if by nowadays you mean back in the mid-2000s, then sure. But it was a electric ghost type Pokemon, and what it did, since a ghost, it would possess the different things. So it would possess a refrigerator, and then I think it got Ice Beam when it's like that. When it possessed the lawnmower, it had a cutting move. There were 5 different things it could possess in Platinum.
I see.
Justin, what was your second one?
It will be Snorlax because he's living the dream. I love the idea of the big fat Pokemon who just sleeps all day as a whole pretty popular character.
All right. Sheta, did you have a second one?
I also like I think it's Dragini. It's also cute.
Yep. All right. So there we go. There are random questions for Power Rangers and Pokemon.
Well, we just dated ourselves.
Well, especially with Pokemon, what really dates us is for Pokemon, I'm the only one that did also pick a Pokemon that's not Gen 1.
Yep. My familiarity is not going to be very high outside of that unless it was Smash Brothers.
I should have just said something very Pikachu, the classic.
Yeah. I'm going to go deep into the lore and pick Pikachu.
Yeah. I do like Pikachu a lot.
I'm going with Dunsparce.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Or the first time when I played Gold and Silver, I caught Unknown, and I was like, all right, I'm going to stay with this one. And by the time I got up to level 25, I realized, okay, this Pokemon's not getting any new moves. What the hell? I knew nothing about the game.
I still don't.
Unknown has one move.
I didn't say I wanted
power.
to. I said I don't know.
All right. But there's our random shit.
God.
So let's get back over to Brandon Sanderson with the the Way of Kings. So we'll start off with the recap of last week's chapters, and it's Justin's turn.
Well, Dalinar decided on his decision to pass off the mantle to his son. He built a bathroom with a hammer, part of a bathroom, while he was making the choice. We learned that Jasnah's doing something cryptic over where she is, but we didn't get all the details on it. Kaladin has finally made some friends and won people over by doing a little stick dance in the canyons he was in, and then feeding them some food. So it looks like he's starting to... What's that?
We had a bonfire after he showed off his moves.
Mm-hmm. We learned something, but I don't remember what it is. And then I feel like I'm forgetting a POV character.
No, the only POVs we had were just Adolin.
Just those two?
Well, yeah, Dalinar and Kaladin.
And Sadeas did a investigation of the camp while they were going in to fight the Chasm Fiend and the Parshendi and that shit. And Dalinar he went from like playing Doom to watching Schindler's List in like the snap of a finger. And it was a very horrifying thing for him to notice all those dead bodies. And that was part of what led to his decision, I think. That's what I got.
I love that comparison.
That's what it felt like.
Dalinar is now Doom guy.
He was for a second.
So the casting now for Dalinar will be Karl Urban.
Dude, not even kidding. That's pretty good. I'll do it. I might.
You'd cast him for anything.
I might. I absolutely would. I think he's one of the best we have and totally underused. The dude played Dread with Karl Urban. That's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
You've used Karl Urban once before, but I don't remember which character.
If I was a director, he'd be one of my go-to guys.
Yep. Good recap. Covered all the points we need to cover. So for this week, we read the 3 interludes and then read 3 chapters. So we got to go and we got some new characters, some new world building with them. We got to check back in with Szeth. Got to see what's happening with Shallan and Jasnah. So, and got to go back to Kaladin for a little bit. So, once again, I'll ask you, after seeing all this stuff going on, how'd you two feel about these chapters?
Well, I was very glad we got to go back to Jasnah and them.
It's Jasnah.
Jasnah. Okay, I don't listen, I read it. There's a name in here that I'm like, how the fuck do you pronounce this name? So I'm excited to hear. I like seeing Kaladin stuff come together. The interludes I thought were interesting because I didn't care at the beginning of any of them, but by the end I was very interested in them because they work towards big plot stuff, it seems. So very interested to see all of that.
I was wrong. I have a new least favorite character. And then I have new favorite
before we
character.
go, I want to guess. I want to guess your least favorite character.
Okay.
My guess is that's going to be Rysn. We'll
see. Or do you want to know now?
No. I want to guess too. I don't think it's Rysn. Is that how you say that?
Yeah. Thaylen names are weird.
I don't even know who it could be. If it's not just that you hate the same girl you hated before again. I'm curious. Yeah, I can't guess. I'm surprised that somebody made you hate them in here. This was a pretty innocuous, few chapters.
Nope.
All right. Well, let's
Oh, but I did also have a new favorite character as well. So it balanced out.
All right. Well, let's go into our recap then. Going into the interludes. Starting off with interlude 4, Rysn. And one thing I'm going to put into our little thing is, because I showed you before, because you always have the chapter headers with images. I put in here, because Sheta might not have seen them, the Kaladin and Dalinar / Adolin one. Now this one, this is kind of the default one. Like both Rysn and Axies get it, the prelude had it, so typically it's for characters that aren't normal POV characters. You get this image.
Okay, a guest image. We should put that on our guest episodes. That would be funny.
So this chapter is Rysn. And Rysn is a Thaylen merchant apprentice to her Bafsk Vistim. It has been 5 months since she became his apprentice. They arrive in Shinovar, which Rysn finds is an odd place. And once again, I'm gonna once more put the map in here in case you guys haven't, in case you don't remember it. Because Shinovar, if you look at the map, it's on the west coast. And you have like all the mountains in front of it and behind it. So that plays an important role in this chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, because Shinovar, it's not like the rest of Roshar. And she notes it because it has grass and soil instead of just being stone ground with like the plants that hide away and everything.
Yeah, that was freaking weird.
I put the map there because there's kind of an explanation for it that she thinks about later is because by the time the high storms get there on the west coast, it's pretty much dead and it's just kind of coming down as rain. And those mountains also help protect it from the high storms. So that's why the plants, they don't need to evolve in a way to hide away because they're just getting normal rain. They're not being plummeted by high storms.
Have we got any detail on what happens during a high storm? Like, is it rain in like extreme winds or something, or no details yet?
You know, we've been told about it. It's like able to like pick up rocks and throw that shit.
Oh, okay.
And like all like any buildings and stuff that they have, like houses, they don't have windows or stuff on the eastern side because the storms always go from the east to west. So like everything in Roshar is built to withstand high storms.
Interesting. Okay.
Like city of Kharbranth was built kind of in like this little like against like a mount, like a cliffside that's on the east. So. And another thing with Shinovar that Rysn notes is that there's just a lack of spread in there. There's no spread that she sees. And Vistim has Rysn set up and, has Rysn and some of their guards set up a new Fabrial. And this Fabrial is one that goes off and alerts them when someone comes near. She wonders why they are setting this up if they already know who the person is they're going to meet. But Vistim pretty much tells them that they're testing it out because this thing then, if it works, it can protect them from bandits and stuff in the future. And then a group of Shin arrived to trade with them. And Shin that Rysn had met in the past, they always wore kind of basic brown clothing. But these Shin, they're wearing a little bit more color. The one in the lead is wearing like a big multicolored cloak. And then the other ones, they're wearing stuff that have a little bit of color, but not too much. And Vistim explains to Rysn that the Shin see warriors as the lowliest of men, kind of like slaves. And the man that's here in the lead is a farmer, and the Shin treat farmers with attention and respect. And the farmer, whose name is Thresh's son Isan, greets Vistim, and they begin trading. And Vistim brings out some metal scraps, which had been soul cast from things like shells, barks, and branches. And he has documents that are sealed by 5 Thaylen notaries that guarantees that no rocks were smelted or broken to make this metal. And Thresh is like, you don't need to show me this because you've earned our trust in the past. But Vistim says that he always wants to be proper with him. In return, Thresh is offering Vistim some chickens. Thresh says, others that come here to trade, they always want horses. But Vistim, you're always trading for chickens instead. And Vistim responds that chickens, they fetch a good price, and they're much easier to care for than horses. And then both Vistim and Thresh, as they're talking about the goods they have, they're trying to downplay it and, try to make it seem like it's less than what it actually is. And Rysn is thinking that this is the craziest negotiation that she has ever seen.
I thought this was funny because when I'm reading it, I'm like, this just seems like bartering by like another name when she was wondering why. So I thought it's funny in a little bit when they just say that's exactly what it is. Because I'm like, this sounds as annoying as bartering always sounds. Like acting like you're doing some, my stuff is so worthless. No, my stuff is so worthless. I would have actually loved to be able to listen to the entirety of that conversation instead of just kind of glossing over it like they do when she points this out.
And after they come to a deal, Vistim asks if Thresh has any soldiers that he could trade. But Thresh answers that, our soldiers, they cannot be sold to an outsider. But Vistim brings up that once Thresh did trade him one, Thresh is like, that was 7 years ago, and you're always bringing it up. But Vistim, he's like, yeah, I bring it up because I got a lot for him, and you had traded him to me for practically nothing. And Thresh says that man was truthless, and he wasn't worth anything. In fact, the goods you gave me, I had to throw them away because I could not accept anything for a truthless. Vistim says, well, if you ever get another one, then to let me know. And Thresh does not think that will be likely, and he hopes that they never see another one like him. And I just need to ask you, you know who this truthless is they're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Kaladin. No,
Yeah.
just kidding. Yeah, I know who it is.
Okay. I figured it was pretty obvious, but I just wanted to make sure.
Jeez, just trying to call out for one of us to look like a fucking moron if we're like, wait, who was it?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to all of a sudden be later and all of a sudden you're like, who was that truthless guy they talked about in that one chapter? I wonder if he's going to show up.
Sheta, this whole podcast is just an excuse so Joe can find moments where we look stupid and then call us dumb. That's all it is.
Feels like it sometimes. Did we ever learn what a truthless means, like from Szeth, or not yet? Like, what did he do
No.
to be so? No? Okay.
You have not learned what a truthless is or why he is called a truthless.
Okay.
After they go their separate ways, Vistim asks Rysn what she learned. And she says, the Shin are weird. Vistim tells her, they're not weird, they're just different. And they are stable, but maybe too stable. Vistim has offered to trade them fabrials in the past, but they always turned it down. Then he asked Rysn, all right, now, what did you really learn? And she says that they try to be humble. Both Vistim and Thresh try to show how worthless their wares were. And Vistim is happy at Rysn for being able to see this. And he tells her to never try to cheat the Shin. Tell them the truth and undervalue your goods. They will love you for it, and they'll pay you for it. And then Vistim gives Rysn a pot and tells her, all right, now take some of that grass and soil, fill up the pot. You're going to learn to care for this plant until you stop thinking of it as odd, because it will make you a better merchant. Rysn thinks that Vistim is strange, but that also may be why he is one of the few Thalens that are able to get a good deal out of the Shin. And that's the end of that interlude.
I really like this idea that to be a merchant, you need to learn how to put up with some really fucking strange ways of, just strange types of people. And you need to be able to put aside whatever your personal thought was for the goal of making money from them.
Interesting. Interesting that that's a quality that's unique, because so far all the people that we meet in this land have been so different and have such like specific and random customs and cultures that are almost cartoony and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And so to be able to know them and understand why it matters to them feels like kind of like, because the differences is what keeps them apart, and like for them to come together, being able to respect and work with them even though they're so different from you is one of the things that might unite them and stuff,
So unite them does not mean unite the Alethi. It means unite all the people of this realm. Is that it?
Yeah, I wonder. Like, it's hard
Anything
to
else?
keep track. What are they? We said you called them like
Thalen.
Thalen? What's Thalen?
Yeah, if you look at the map, you'll see like Yakoved Alethkar. You go south, see the Frostlands, and then at the southern part of the map, you see this island that's Thalena.
Okay.
They're
Jeez.
an island nation, so you have a lot of merchants. We did meet
Okay.
another quote-unquote merchant earlier with Tavlakov, Kaladin's slaver. He's Thalen.
Okay.
And they do have the... you can notice them because they have those long eyebrows that like go down. A lot of times they put them behind their ears or curl them or stuff like that.
I'm sorry. I'm not open-minded. That's gross.
Once you see images of them, they don't look as bad as you might think from that.
Dude, it's behind their fucking ears. That's weird.
I imagine like a little like an old man like with the Fu Manchu might have long eyebrow like that, but the girl one is the one I'm like weirded out by.
If you've also got a Fu Manchu, that'd work just fine.
Mm-hmm. I think of the little master in Kung Fu Panda. I think it's like a little Master Sifu. He has those eyebrows a little bit.
I think of Pai Mei from Kill Bill.
Yeah, that's basically the archetype.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take this.
Oh, but I don't need to see some weird ass brow shit, Joe.
So you can this image will kind of give you an idea about what the eyebrows are like.
Ugh, I'm not into it. What's this people called again?
Thalen.
I ain't dating no Thalen, that's for sure. I'd be like, bitch, shave those eyebrows.
That is weird. Is it a different color like that?
Yeah, their eyebrows are white.
Ugh. It's like
that is so.
It's like
funny.
having a fucking worm growing off of your fucking brow. No, thank you.
That's so.
I am
funny.
racist against these people. I am just canonly that. Never trust a Thalen. That's what I always say.
No, the Shin, they're the ones that are their eyes. They don't have the epicanthic folds like the rest of Roshar.
That's fine because it's not long eyebrows. They have a real world basis, just like the Roshar to me.
Well, Sheta asked about Shin earlier, but that's what it is they don't have the epicanthic folds, so a lot of times people describe them as having large eyes or Shin eyes.
Mm-hmm. They're anime characters, yes.
I thought that's my other theory. They're anime characters.
That's a theory? That's not a theory.
Just think of it like most of the world has kind of like the East Asian, eyes, and then the Shin, they would have your European style, European, North American.
Wait, the Shin.
What about the rest of the facial features?
I thought they were like interesting.
No,
I thought they were the Asian ones.
No, the main character ones are.
Okay.
All right.
I'm
breaking the barriers of your mind. Is that it, Sheta?
Yeah, I am. Flipping
you up.
Got me twisted. Right. I did have something. Well, since we're on her Rysn is the one that I found annoying.
Really? Why? She just seemed like a young student to me.
I think I may have to seriously start reading a physical book and stuff because it is.
Oh, it was just the voice again?
Yeah. Okay, so let me say this real quick. Like, I like this narrator girl. Like, she does descriptors really well, and I think she did Warbreaker, right? Like,
no.
Wait, what?
Nope. Warbreaker was somebody else. Kate Redding. The only other stuff you would have heard her would be any female point of views in Arcanum Unbounded, like Emperor's Soul.
Okay, so she did Emperor's Soul. Okay. Well, the descriptors are well done, but it's just any character, and like the dialogue is even fine when it's like the old master character in here. He was fine, he was good, but it's just the teenage girl with an attitude voice that she does that is so.
She didn't have an attitude.
Yeah, well, she gave her one. Like,
she definitely didn't in my reading of it. I read her very simply. She's barely a character.
I tried to read it. I tried to just see the words and not hear the voice that she was doing, because she is younger. She does the voice in a high-pitched and cracky and randomly pitchy way that I just could not listen to.
So you're saying she's like, man, these people are weird.
No,
that's what you're listening to? The teenager from The Simpsons?
She goes, wow, they have a lot of servants with them. And then he goes, yep, those aren't servants. Those are warriors. What? They look so dull. Like, it's that pitch. And she may as well have said, Nani? Like, it was really annoying.
Sheta, that is one of the most annoying things I've ever heard.
Yeah, and it was listening with my earbuds on noise cancellation, and so it was just unbearable to listen to. Oh, man. Yeah, so I cannot read. If she ever comes back, I will not listen to that. I will just read it.
You think maybe you should have a rule to stop judging people based on their voices, Sheta?
This is my
Because
first
this
impression.
is not the first time this has happened. I've heard many times you're like, I hate this character. She sounds
Exactly.
annoying.
At least I had like the know to be like, okay, I have to separate this voice from this character, because I just tried to listen to the words and gosh, I can't do it. Like I have to, I'm gonna have to read it because it was just awful.
That is making me think there is one character that I love that I know if Sheta listens to it after the way she complained about Shallan or complained about Rysn, there's one character that I know whenever they come up, if Sheta listens to it, she will hate it from the voice.
Yep. Like I will put my own characterization into them. You don't have to do that. Like, and then since it's a POV episode or two, like anytime it slips into from, because it's her POV, she does the voice for the descriptors too. So I can't do it.
Yep. There's one character I can think of that eventually, when they show up, Sheta will wind up hating them from the way you complained about Rysn.
I'm just
I
surprised. I
apologize for
barely
doing the
felt like
voice.
this was a character at all, Sheta.
Yeah, I would have liked that. I would have liked just seeing the scene unfold, you know. But
She seemed to me more like a point of view to describe this culture,
Exactly.
and that was about it.
Yes. I tried to listen to it like that and take out that personality in there. Like, yeah, so Shallan has a bit of that in her too, which thanks to Jasnah and other characters, she's kind of mellowed out. But gosh, her episode, her POV chapter was just like that, and it was unbearable. So I'm sorry if you like the voice, but I can't do it.
Yeah, the voice actor is listening right now, Sheta.
Just read the book. You don't have to put characterization into it. You're not a VA.
Jeez.
I'm sorry, because isn't she the wife of the other voice actor?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh shit.
I
You're
feel
really, you're making enemies on this thing.
Okay, just delete that from the podcast.
We're
then.
all trying to get along here, and you're dissing our biggest listeners.
And for me,
Well, I
I'll
love
say, for
the
me
other
personally,
parts. Yeah.
I've had no problems with anything that Michael Kramer or Kate Redding have read. I've had no problems with any of these voices.
That's good. Yeah, no, I think it takes a lot of skill to read descriptors and other things, and she's really captivating in that. It is only just these specific character voices that I can't stand.
All right. Anything else you two want to bring up with the Rysn chapter?
I would not enjoy growing grass in a pot. That's all I can say. It sounds very...
I think it's pretty cool to take
You
some of
think
that
it's
with
cool?
you. Yeah, because it's nowhere else, you know. It's special.
I like a lot when she's like, "This. I feel like I'm gonna fall into the ground. This is weird." I always like seeing people describe things that I just take as normal.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right. Then we will move on to interlude number 5, Axies the Collector. So, Axies the Collector wakes up naked in an alley, and he does not remember how he got there. And we get a little description of him. His nails are a deep blue color, which is not uncommon for an Amian. And he notices that he is stepping in rotting garbage, so he sculpts his nose so that way he no longer smells it. And a man says that Axies, hey, you're in my alley. And Axies, he focuses and he banishes the headache that he has, so that way it goes away. And right now, Axies was in Kazator, which is a city in Erie, and he's searching for Spren. Another quick little thing with the map, if you go there, Erie, it's the upper left part of the map. You have this country, Erie, kind of a peninsula there. And where he's from is Amia. That's the island that's all the way to the west. The very last part of the map is this island called Amia.
Oh my gosh. So many different peoples introduced.
Yep. And the Eriali, we had heard them described before in one of the Adolin chapters. Like, their big thing with their look is they have golden hair. Not blonde hair. Their hair looks actually like gold. Yeah, so the man says that Axies destroyed the Temple of the Northern God and half of Hapron Street. And that's when Axies notices that the rotting vegetables that he has stepped on, they're kind of set up like buildings in this alley. And the man asks if Axies is a herald or a voidbringer. And Axies answers, I'm a Voidbringer. And he tells him that only a sacred cloth can banish him. And the man then, he kind of shoos Axies away and then throws a ratty blanket at him. So Axies takes this blanket and wraps it around his waist, so that way he's not walking around naked. And as Axies is walking around, he's getting stares from people. And he figures, it might be because of his, blue fingernails and his crystalline deep blue eyes. Amiens, even Saya Amiens, were quite rare. But it has not been that long since his homeland had been scoured. Just long enough for it to kind of go into, stories that people tell. And Axies also had a shadow that went the wrong way. So that may also explain why people are looking at him
also
weird.
That. Jesus Christ, that's a weird fucking thing.
What does that mean?
Got Peter Pan walking around, shadow going everywhere. That was weird. Yeah, that means some weird ass, I would fucking avoid whatever that is too. I guess I'm racist against those people as well. This book's making me a fictional bigot.
Yeah, that's weird though.
And Axies' body was covered in tattoos. And the tattoos are kind of notes that he keeps about the spread that he's found and stuff like that. Because he doesn't want to write down in a notebook because he tends to be robbed and stuff like that. And his goal is to find and, write down every single spread that's possible. And like all Amiens, he could change the color and markings on his skin at will. So he's just able to make tattoos on his body.
I want this power.
And he knows, there is always a chance that he could be brought before the local magistrate, because it happens a bit. But when the curse of kind followed you, you learn to take what happened as it happened.
They say a lot of things that we don't know what they mean. And all I can do is take a note and not know.
No, I always have my rule. If they need me to know about their weird-ass culture, they will make sure I know about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm working really hard to remember.
I just brought up curse of kind because that was all capitalized.
Oh, the whole word?
Well,
or just the first?
The words curse and kind.
Okay.
Of doesn't get capitalized.
There was another word that was capitalized when it said that something about pointed towards the origin or something like that. Origin was capitalized. I thought that was interesting.
So the origin is another way that they say east, because that's where the high storm comes. Sure. So that's the origin.
Oh.
The point is, it was capitalized.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you ever hear anybody say they're looking at the origin, they're pretty much looking east.
Good to know.
And the night before, Axies had gotten drunk, hoping to see a spread that allegedly only appeared when you are drunk, and also only appears in Erie. He has gotten drunk many times, but he only saw it once, and he doesn't know if he actually saw it, or if it was just a drunken illusion. And last night afterwards, his drinking companions wound up beating him up and robbing him.
As they do sometimes.
Yeah. Maybe if he didn't yell out so many slurs, he wouldn't get beaten up as often as he is. That's my theory.
I just love how easygoing he is with all this. Yeah, just beat up, left for dead, basically. Everything taken from me. So easygoing.
And Axies was also in this specific city, hoping to see a specific spread. And then at 7:46 exactly in the morning, out of the sea, an enormous sea blue spread surged from the water. It takes the shape of a large jet of water and grows to 100 feet. They call this spread Kusasesh, the Protector. It was one of the few spread that Axies know only to have a single member. And it appeared to have a face that's facing the origin, and the face was constantly changing and shifting through many different faces. After 10 minutes, Kusasesh retreated, and Axies felt like something was leached from him.
Jeez. That's interesting because he's going to be one of the people who are most aware of Spren here. Other people probably don't think of them the way he does, so it makes me wonder.
That supports the theory.
That Spren are stealing feelings? Is that it?
That Spren are grown from things like that, or get their kind of like powers or sense of self and being and stuff from things like that.
From people?
From people. Believers.
Well, people and things, actually, because they come from other things, too.
A thing. Whatever their thing is.
Tangible effects, right?
Yeah.
And then a street urchin steals Axies' waist wrap from him, and some guards start coming towards Axies. And Axies wonders if he will finally see a captivity spren. He has never seen one despite all of his incarcerations, so he's beginning to believe that they might just be mythological. But hey, he has seen 2 new spren in this day, so at this rate, it might only take him a few more centuries to catalog them all.
That's all.
And that's the end of that interlude.
This one was interesting to me because it answered something I've been wondering and asked about before, which is like, I've been wondering if Spren always appear, because they would just be constantly out because people are always feeling things and things are always happening. But I don't remember exactly the line, but he said in here there were, there were situations where he would work to find them and they didn't always show up. So I was really glad to have that answer. So when you've got all the fear spread, that doesn't mean that's every bit of fear that every person is feeling. It's just for some reason there's a set amount of them, or they're more or less likely to come out in different times or different places.
Yeah.
I found that very interesting.
Now you have no fear of the boner spread, Justin.
That was Joe, not me.
I called it arousal spread.
Same.
Sheta, you're wrong, because if everyone has it, you have nothing to be worried about. But if it only happens sometimes, that's way more embarrassing. So that's way worse.
Yeah. I really like this idea that they are really rare. Like, it feels like a video game where you have to, like, you're catching a rare fish or something, and you have to find these conditions, like, at this time of day, in this area, like, in these weather conditions, it will appear, and that's it. Like, I didn't know they were that rare, and that it was that specific, and that it's just fun to see someone who actually is trying to study and track them.
And he seems a lot nicer than the Collector from Mortal Kombat.
Was the Collector going for Spren? I don't remember that part.
No, the Collector in Mortal Kombat he'd kill people and like put them in like his bag or collect like body parts and shit.
That's what I remember. Yeah.
Isn't there a horror movie called The Collector?
There is. It's better than it has any right to be, being that it was like a repurposed Saw movie.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
It was cool. I don't know if I'd use the word good.
That's all I expect from a horror movie. My bar, I mean.
Anything else from the Axies the Collector chapter?
Well, this was my new favorite character.
Oh, I don't like him that much. He's way too upbeat. I do not like that.
It was so fun. Like, now this characterization and accent, I thought really matched the character, and I thought that the chipperness of it kind of really matched and made him kind of such a cartoon and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I just like learning all the we got a lot of info and stuff from this chapter.
I thought you didn't trust people with colored fingers, Sheta.
It's nails, not fingers.
Oh, okay. Important distinction there. You can trust people with colored nails, but not if their fingers are a certain color.
Justin, getting your fingers on something is much different than just like having your nails done.
He didn't have his nails done.
Like, their nails aren't going to be touching everything. That's the difference.
And I thought it was just somebody who had the word finger in their name.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Not blue. It's the finger part. Yeah, but definitely this chapter stirred up a lot of theories and thoughts about things in this world for me.
All right. So let's move on to interlude number 6, which is called A Work of Art. And it's a Szeth interlude, and I didn't show you the Szeth, chapter image before, so for all the Szeth ones we've had so far, we've had this.
Very anime.
All right.
Is he bald?
They pointed that out.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I thought so. I guess I didn't picture it like too much.
Now you don't like him anymore?
No, I think he's cute still.
Ew, he's bald.
No, I have said before, I think bald guys are cute like that.
What if they're... I think we actually already had this conversation, so I won't
Yeah.
continue.
Szeth, son Villano, truthless of Shinovar, is at a gambling den. The den is run by his master, Makek. And since he became his master, Makek has used Szeth to kill his rivals. And he also had Szeth kill the men he was working with the night that, they had found that Oathstone after, killing Szeth's old master. And as Szeth is walking through the gambling den, he sees some people rubbing fire moss between their fingers to get high. And I just find fire moss such an interesting drug, because you get high by rubbing it between your fingers. You don't smoke it, ingest it. That's how you're rubbing it between your fingers.
Okay, that's freaking gross. The fingers thing again. That's now it's
Sheta
in a
hates
gross
fingers. You heard it here first, folks.
It's just weird. I did not get that they were getting high off of it, which is yeah. But now
and I know that and it kind of like the whole rubbing between the fingers kind of makes me think of like not exactly the same, but RoboCop 2, they have the drug they get by injecting it into their neck. Just like all these weird ways to get high that fiction sometimes does.
Yeah.
Yeah, fiction. It's not what I'm doing every week. Rubbing things in my neck and fingers, hoping for the best.
Justin, TMI.
You never know till you try. That's my philosophy.
And we learn a little bit about how gambling works here, because since Vorin culture, they're against like seeing into like predicting the future, seeing the future. So what they do is they roll their dice and then they make bets after like the dice is rolled. That way they're not actually predicting the future, so it's not
bullshit.
It's not bad.
Bullshit. That's the most loopholey bullshit I ever heard.
I think it's funny to come up with the loopholes, because that's what we do,
Hypocrisy.
Like if there's a roll. Yeah.
And
so where is this land again? Can you
So right now they mention it they're in Bavland, which it's kind of like this very small area right by that's like a part of Yakoved. So if you look at Yakoved, you have the Horneater Peaks right in the middle, and then the western part you have another mountains, and then there's this little area in Yakoved that's called Bavland.
Okay, gotcha.
Now, I could be wrong. I don't know if Bavland's just a section of Yakoved or if it's a separate country, but I think it's pretty close to similar.
There is a line drawn around it, so maybe it's a providence.
Yep. And so Szeth finds this stuff with the gambling strange, but he does not want to question it. Because if he questions their stuff, then he might start winding up questioning the stone shamanism, which then might make him question his nature as a truthless. Szeth sees Makek as he leaves to go do his task. Szeth has been ordered to kill a new rival to Makek called Gavashaw. And Makek also, throughout all his killings in the past, has had Szeth pretty much dress up like a ninja. But once Szeth is outside the gambling den, he takes off like the cloak and stuff, because it's like, in the mask, it's like, this is just stupid and it isn't going to do anything.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I'm quite disappointed by how Makek has used him. I was really hoping for more out of our boy here.
Our boy? That's all.
Our boy. Our boy
This is
Makek.
exactly what I thought he would be doing.
Justin, what did you think he was going to do?
Something cooler, I was hoping. You get your own personal master assassin, and you just use it to get yourself the smallest little thing you can possibly think of.
Blade and money.
Mm-hmm.
What more do you need? He's a simple man, Justin.
A lot more by how things go in just a little bit.
So, and as Szeth is walking through the streets, he thinks back of his home. And he knows, this place is not my home. And there was also no place for Szeth back in the Valley of Truth. And Szeth has also made sure not to use his shard blade too much, because he does not want Makek to know that he has it. And if Makek would, find out and demand that Szeth give him the shard blade, then he would learn that Szeth was forbidden to relinquish it. And in the future, once Szeth died, then the stone shamans would come and reclaim the blade and bring it back to Shinovar. And Szeth also does not want it widely known, or word to get around, that a Shin man has a shard blade and is using powers, because then that could get out, and it could wind up starting a war. If the Alethi hear it, then they might leave the Shattered Plains and go after Yakaved if they found out that Szeth was there. And Szeth arrives at the City Lord's mansion, which is where Gavashah is staying. And Szeth uses his powers to sneak into the building without killing anyone. Walking outside the building, like cuts a stone from the roof and just lashes it away so it just flies off. And he gets inside and he heads to the master's room. And he doesn't find anyone on the way, which he thinks is odd. When he gets to the master's room, opens the door, he takes a ball, puts a drape over it, and he lashes it forward so that way it flies into the room. And if someone sees it, they might think that's a person. But nobody reacts to it. So then Szeth heads into the room, and on a table, he finds Gavashah's decapitated head. And a man calls out to him, Szeth, son Naturo. He asks Szeth if Szeth is satisfied with all this. And Szeth can tell from his accent that the man is not Vaden. The man says that Szeth is being used to kill unimportant people and impress whores. He is being squandered. Szeth responds that he's just following his master's orders, and the man says that it is a crime to use Szeth like this. He is a work of art, and this man is an admirer of the arts.
I love when people, bad guy characters, call murder an art, and that they are an admirer of the art. I can't believe that's like basically a trope.
What
So
you
like,
do
I've
is
admired
beautiful.
your work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could put you to such good
You're
use.
an artist.
A man of your talents, stuff like that.
What did he say this guy's accent sounded like?
He did not place it exactly. I think he just said that it's not Vaden.
Okay. Sorry, what's Vaden?
Yakaved.
Okay.
So like Shallan's Vaden.
Okay. They're changing it up. It doesn't have the name of the country in it.
It has the last 3 letters of the country. Yakaved. So VED from Kaved. So that's
They're
where you get
asking
it.
too much.
How dare you ask me to think and learn?
They have freaking a dozen countries, and at least keep it to a simple pattern to make it easier
I think
for
you're
me.
describing what most people like about world-building fantasy books.
Uh-huh. But I'm taking notes like I'm in freaking social studies or something right now. Like,
Me? I don't do any of that, and so I never complain. If the book wants me to know, it'll tell me.
yeah, but I need to have some info to make some theories and come to conclusions and stuff.
That is true. Paying attention definitely helps with theories, that's for sure.
All right. Szeth tells the man not to call him by his father's name because he does not want his father to be sullied by being associated with him. Because this man has been calling Szeth, son Naturo. But Szeth has always called himself Szeth, son Villano. So essentially Szeth is does not want his father sullied by him, so he's going by his grandfather's name instead.
Jeez, did he hate his grandpa?
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably did.
And the man tells Szeth that he was meant for greatness. Szeth responds that there is no greatness in killing. And as Szeth is about to leave to go report to Makek that Gavashah's dead, the man tosses Makek's head onto the ground.
I like this guy. He's got a flair for the dramatic.
He would be your type. It's funny.
And he tells him that they had grabbed Makek seconds after Szeth had left the gambling den. Szeth asks who's they, and the man's just like, we are, servants of your new master. And then the man reveals that he has Szeth's oath stone. And he has Szeth grab a piece of paper that's on the table and tells him that, that paper has a list of people to kill and how to kill them. And Szeth is shocked as he reads the list. They are some of the most important people in the world. 6 high princes, Slade Gerontark, the king of Yakaved. The man says that it is time for Szeth to stop wasting his talent. Szeth says this will cause chaos. And then the man uses a soulcaster and turns the wall to smoke. He says that their master wants Szeth to use similar tactics to kill Gavilar. And when he is done, he will receive new instructions. After the man leaves, Szeth waits there for a time, and then finally puts the list away. And that's the end of that interlude.
Wow. Oh, you're not asking what we think of the names of these interlude chapters,
Well,
they also have
I had no
titles.
reason to ask the other two, because the other two were the titles were Rysn and Axies the Collector.
Yep.
Okay,
As in, it's about how the people have risen to a new culture, to understanding a new culture. And I got nothing for Axies the Collector.
Maybe he's
Szeth-
called Axies because he travels on only Axies.
He only travels on Axies. That's why it's called that. Yep, you got it.
Yeah, only the Szeth one has had a chapter title because Szeth has had multiple interlude chapters.
He's graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's called work of art because he's a work of art, and this list is gonna be a work of art. Once you complete it, it will be. Or that.
Why will it be a work of art?
Because it's like something you're working on. You know, imagine crossing it off like after you've like offed everybody. You're like, yes, and you complete it, and it's finished.
At the end, he's going to be like, that man was right. This is my greatest work ever.
Yeah, this is beautiful. The world is finally beautiful.
The world is beautiful now that it's in flames.
No, now that it's cleansed of these people.
Cleansed. He didn't seem to pass any moral judgment on these people.
He didn't know, but he'll find out once he starts assassinating them.
So you're saying the guy who beheaded 2 people and then said, boy, your killing is a thing of beauty, is the good guy?
No, whoever his boss is.
Oh, is the good guy. Because this book has had a very strong pro-killing stance so far, yeah.
The man has said that yes, you're going to kill all this list of the most powerful people in the world. That way it will bring chaos.
A cleansing fire, right, Sheta?
Yeah. Out with the old.
Out with the old, yep.
Mm-hmm. Throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yep, as is often encouraged.
I really feel like this book, it really feels like it has turned Sheta evil.
Uh-oh. What? You think so?
You're pro-Sadius.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
You've been saying some very questionable things, Sheta.
Oh, no.
We may need to report you.
I didn't realize I was saying that stuff. I like Dalinar and Kaladin.
But you only like them when they're killing.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen Kaladin kill anybody since chapter 1.
I am in fact not right. I don't know why you say that.
I just believe everything you say. Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to gaslight you into being evil. I just think it'd be funny to have an evil member on this podcast. Like we value diverse perspectives here, so we made sure to get someone who is diagnosed evil. What's your opinion on this story?
Kill everyone.
All right. Anything else from this Szeth chapter you two want to go over?
No.
I just wanted to say it was interesting that Szeth's opinion of himself matches what we learned about the Shin in Rysn's chapter or part.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, he's like, I'm
just how
garbage.
The warriors.
Is that it?
Yeah, the warriors aren't worth anything, but the farmers and people who make stuff, like farmers make food, which feed people and keep people alive. So that would be very much more valued than a warrior, so yeah. I just like that seeing seeing a character have the values of the place that we just learned about is interesting. It makes it builds the world so to have things like that. So this is why I'm also trying to keep track of all the different countries, because I want to know and get that when we meet characters from there.
All right. So we will move on to part 3, which is called Dying. And as I said last week, our POVs that we were told are Kaladin and Shallan. So we are starting off. First chapter is a Shallan chapter. And very first thing we get, though, before the chapter begins, is we do get an artwork that's like a picture of Kharbranth. So then we go into the chapter 29, which is called Arrogance.
Oh, God, I didn't see. That's the title of the fucking chapter.
Of course, a Shallan chapter would be called something like this.
I have a huge nitpick with this thing that is the most pedantic, stupid thing I may have ever complained about that I'll get to later.
Let's hear it. Well, you don't want to say?
No, when we get to the part, I will.
Okay.
All right.
It's not to do with the story or anything like that.
I think I have an idea.
And I'm going to put in the Shallan chapter image, because I didn't show this before when we were doing those, but These are the headings for the Shallan chapters.
Those aren't impossible geometrical angles. I'm disappointed.
All right. So chapter begins, and we start off with the new epigraphs. So epigraph. The ones of ash and fire, who killed like a swarm, relentless before the heralds. Noted in Masley, page 337. Corroborated by Coldwind and Hassava.
I love annotations so much. So I enjoyed this.
So we begin the chapter, and Shallan, she is speaking with her brothers via span read.
Oh, God. Did this make you like them more, Sheta?
Like who more?
The brothers, who you've always been very supportive of.
Oh, yeah. Well, it gave me some more suspicions and theories.
Suspicions. This made me hate the brothers a lot, so I was sure that you would also hate them.
Oh, you were sure? But I liked them.
The brothers?
I think I said I liked the crab guy. He was funny.
You like the characters, yes, but I mean, their plan and what they're expecting
I was
of
critical.
her.
Yes, I was
That's
very
what you
critical of
hated
the
about
brothers.
them so much. Yeah,
I did. You sent your little sister to do this because you couldn't take care of things. Yeah, that's funny.
All right, and also, Nambalat's betrothed, Elida, is the one that's writing and reading on her brother's side. It has been 2 months since Shallan became Jasnah's ward. Shallan tells her family that Jasnah keeps a close watch on the Soulcaster and wears it all day. At night, she locks it in her safe with a key that she keeps around her neck. But Shallan does say that Jasnah likely takes it off while bathing. So Shallan, if she can become one of Jasnah's bathing attendants, then she might be able to do a switch then.
Mm-hmm.
And Shallan thinks about how much she has been loving the freedom that she has now, but she's trying not to get too absorbed in her studies, because she knows that all this will come to an end soon. She asks how things are going back home, and they answer poorly. Their father's debts are starting to come due, and their high prince is currently ailing. So people right now want to know where they land in the succession. And also the last of their quarries are starting to run out. Nambalat says that they have a few months more at best. And they've been having Asha Jushu sell, possessions under the guise of paying for his gambling addiction, because he used to do that in the past. And Shallan thinks that, he is a good man despite his habit, and that none of them could really be blamed for what they did.
Oh, yeah. This is such an interesting one because they talk about the trauma they all faced at their father, and it seems like she's just going to excuse pretty much anything for that trauma. I'm very curious to see how far she's going to go with that, because it seems like her own has made her quite a pushover, for like a willing to do anything kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
And Shallan asks, maybe we should just ask Jasnah for help. Nambalat responds like, do you think she would help us, an unknown and disliked Vaden house, and would she keep our secrets? But Shallan figures, nah, she probably wouldn't do that. Jasnah would not leave her important duties to help Shallan's family. And then Nambalat has everyone else leave the room, so it's just him and Elita. And he tells Shallan that Luesh is dead. He had died in his sleep. And Luesh was their father's steward. Oh, and also Luesh was the one that knew how to use the Soulcaster. And then a few weeks after he died, a couple guys showed up claiming to be Luesh's friends. And they also implied that their father's Soulcaster belonged to them and that they wanted it back.
A couple guys. Can we get some more information? I just was so frustrated by this whole part. Yes, they totally wanted. So give it to me and I'll give it to them.
While Shallan's family have been pretending to keep their father alive, they have gotten letters from some Light Eyes talking about some vague plans. And Nambalat thinks that, that their father was working with these guys to make a play to become a high prince. And, at one point he did try to talk to the guys about being like, I could take over my father's job. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that.
That's my favorite.
We don't
they
want
laughed.
you.
They're like, no, God, no, you fucking moron.
They probably just laughed at him and left.
Yeah, that's what it said happened.
Oh, okay. So I didn't just imagine it. That's funny.
No.
Oh man, her brothers are so lame.
And if you forgot from the last interlude, like Non-Balat also, he is a cripple. He had to walk with a cane.
Useless
He
one
talked
who
about the
needs
pain
to
in
rip
the leg.
Needs to rip
Oh,
the legs
yay.
off of crabs to get through to get by.
Yeah,
Who
he
hasn't
has
been there?
Justin, he's sick. Okay,
Yep.
he needs this. He needs to do this.
Yeah. This is interesting too, because usually if you have a toxic family in a story, the story pretty quickly wants you to hate them all and is like, these guys are bad for our main character, so don't like them. But in here, I really feel from her perspective, they do seem like a troubled family, and like I would feel like her and want to help them. It's your family, So I find that very fun and interesting.
Family is funny.
Yeah, but Non-Balat, he feels like these are guys that they cannot cross, and that if they don't return the Soulcaster, then they could all wind up being in danger.
Mm-hmm.
He also thinks that they will not accept, yeah, here's your Soulcaster, but it's broken. So he tells Shallan that she needs to bring the Soulcaster back, and then they can create new quarries and then return the Soulcaster. But the problem now is that since Luesh is dead, he asks Shallan if she can figure out how to use it.
Yeah. Oh, but he's dead. Well, you'll have to figure that out. So this already stupid, impossible plan has become even more stupid and impossible. Switch it out while she's taking a bath. Oh, shit. Still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Switch it out while she's taking a bath, meaning that you are the only possible person who has had access to it, provably the only person who has. Hope that she just thinks, I guess it broke while I was taking a bath. Disappear to bring it back to your family. Be like, I guess she just took some time off after it went missing and it broke while I'm taking a bath. And then somehow figure out how to use it so some guys can take it back from you and have no negative repercussions whatsoever. I hate this plan so much. I think calling it a plan is way too generous.
Yep. Thought this from the beginning.
And, he does apologize to Shallan about how dangerous her part of all this is.
Her part. The entire part. The whole thing.
And then he has Elida draw a symbol, which is of 3 interlocking triangles. He tells her that, yep, this is a symbol that, after Luesh had died, they found it on a pendant that he wore. And also one of the men that had come to see them, he had this symbol tattooed on his hand. And I will just put this symbol in here, because that way when it says 3 interlocking triangles, this is the symbol that it looks like.
It's not a Triforce.
Well, no, a Triforce looks nothing like 3 interlocking triangles or 3 interlocking diamonds.
I heard 3 diamonds. I thought you said triangles.
I did say triangles, but the text in the book is diamonds. That was me fucking up.
Then there we go.
I see. What does that look like? I don't know. It looks like something.
Oh, I can tell you exactly what you're probably
with.
thinking of.
Oh, what?
I will bring the logo up, and yeah, I know exactly what you're thinking of. It's similar, but different.
But different. I love logos. So I
what
like
you are thinking of is this.
That's not what I felt.
Because it's
my god.
It's close to the Mitsubishi logo, but different because Mitsubishi's diamonds are not actually interconnected. They're just touching at points, where this logo is interconnected diamonds.
That's funny. It's just the lines that drew that symbol. Yeah, you can only have
so what can
many.
we infer that Brandon Sanderson was trying to say?
He owns a Mitsubishi.
By using the Mitsubishi logo here. Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi.
Just pretend you can say it. That's what I do. And then you say it.
Uh-huh.
And Shallan brings up, if we get caught taking this, we could wind up beginning a war with Althkar. But Non-Balat says, no, there won't be a war. If we get caught, then the King of Yakaved will just turn us over to the Alethi instead of going to war, and then we'll all be executed for the theft.
First sensible thing he said so far.
The line where she says that feels like it would be in the trailer. If we do this,
oh god,
we could start a war. Like
that would be some fucking clickbait trailer. Then. If he immediately after says, no, we'll just be killed.
Maybe that will be in the trailer too.
Yeah, you're right, actually. It probably would be in a modern trailer.
Mm-hmm. And then it turned into a joke.
No, not as a joke.
Well, it does kind of go as a joke because Shallan's just like thinking, "Great, that made me feel so much better."
Yes, but what Sheta's
Oh my
saying of
gosh.
the like record stop or music stop joke you see in trailers.
No, we would be killed. Yeah, that would be the trailer. I would not see that movie.
Well, I didn't see Transformers 1 for that exact reason, and I regretted it, so I've
Rules
learned to
matter.
stop worrying so much about trailers, because the people in charge of them do not even know what the movies they're making are, it seems.
Well, do your job is what I say.
Well, yeah, that would be ideal.
And so that pretty much winds up being the end of their conversation. So, yep. Afterwards, Shallan rereads the whole conversation on the span read paper, and then she burns the paper. Non-Balat was capable, but they all bore scars from the lives that they've led. Elida was the only scribe that they did trust, and Shallan thinks, yeah, she's nice, but she's not really that clever.
Oh, 'cause cleverness is the most important thing, right, Shallan? Sorry.
Isn't she just going to get a teardown about that in a few pages?
Yeah, good. Otherwise, I was going to have to do it.
The fact that she was thinking, yeah, she's not very clever about her future sister-in-law.
No comment.
So then we cut 5 hours later, and Shallan, she's sitting doing her studies, but she's kind of bored by it. She is being made to study the Alethi monarchy, and she's finding the opinions expressed in what she's reading to be ridiculous. And Shallan says aloud that she's coming to hate the Alethi monarchy. And Jasnah says, well, I'll try not to take that personally. And Shallan brings up that she hates how the arguments that she is reading just refuse to see things from other points of view and are just so confident about it. They are so arrogant. And she's like, she calls this whole thing arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
You see now, Justin.
That's not...
Yep.
I have a
You
lot to
see
say on
now.
this.
And Jasnah describes it as, it's called the assuredness movement. It's a literary device where the people writing it, they overstate their case.
Okay, so you've told me before when I asked that, according to Brandon Sanderson, these are not written in English, these worlds, right? We're just translating them into English? About
He
some
mostly
pun
uses
somebody
that
made
when-
before, or some...
Yeah.
Okay, but that's the canon thing, right? And so am I to believe the incredible, like, I'm just supposed to believe that not only, or that this isn't just some translation, they very specifically use the word arrogance and error with the exact definitions we have in English. And I'm just supposed to believe that that's some other language and that could possibly be translated, but doing some like a god awful when they try to do a pun from Japanese to English in an anime, and you can just tell how forced it is. Because there is no way I would believe that this... You would have to have some perfect equivalent in those languages that would perfectly fit in as a phonetic pun like that. And I just cannot suspend my disbelief for that. If that's been used as the reasoning to explain away a similar comment a long time ago, I would not be questioning that now. So his thing that got me to shut up before is getting me to question it now. It's drove me
Well,
way
I'll
more
say-
nuts than I think it had any right to.
I'll say this: it's not that good of a pun, so that's they just probably made something up.
The fact that it's not that good of a pun is why I'm questioning it. Because it just only works with these words. They just don't. Or like, I can't imagine some other combination of words that could, or words with similar meanings that you would translate to force this pun to work, if that makes any sense. Like in Japanese, I remember in Fairy Tale, they always put moo puns in whenever Lucy's cow guy would talk. And I'm like, okay, so you have a word that means like, I'm gonna like go from here to here. There's more than one word besides move you can use for that. But they choose the word move because it has a moo in it. Like, I can understand that. With this, I just have trouble coming up with other words that you could have put in its place. Well, I mean, English words you could have used. So that is my incredibly pedantic, totally useless, doesn't mean anything, doesn't affect anything at all, and should be completely ignored complaint of the week.
Justin, I have a reply to that.
You have a reply.
I'm going to quote you from the opening of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
No. And I'll tell you why that doesn't work. Repeat to yourself, it's just a show. You should really just relax. The reason that does not work is because when I brought up a similar comment in a previous book, you had an on-the-record word of God answer to it. Because I was given that word of God answer, now I have that in my head. If back then you had just said, well, it's just a story, it's just the gist of it, I'd be like, yeah, of course. But no, I have a quasi-canon answer, so I am going to stick with this point, and it's going to drive me crazy if they ever make a pun such a huge part of the story again.
All right. Back to this. All right. Jasnah says that if Shallan devoted half the energy that she used to be witty into her work, then she could be one of the greatest scholars of their age. And Shallan then says a quip, and she apologizes for saying it. And Jasnah tells her never to apologize for being clever. However, she must apply her wit with care. Jasnah prefers her wards to be clever, and she does suspect that wit would find Shallan to be amusing.
Now that I want to see. I want to see them get into an eternal, quip fight and see who gives up first.
I don't want to see it.
I do. Well, Wit would win, unless it's a year later and she's really worked on her quip skills.
She's trained.
Because he would destroy her right now. Wit. Yeah, she's a trained, sarcastic bitch at this point.
And then Jasnah asks what Shallan has found in her studies. And she says that each writer has their own theory for why the Parshendi killed Jasnah's father. And then about the assassin in white, they all wonder why the Parshendi hired him with different theories. Jasnah asks for Shallan's conclusions, and Shallan says that she's inadequate. Jasnah tells her that she is not having her study if there was no point to it. If they do nothing with the knowledge that they gain, then they waste their efforts. And Jasnah speaking like this has made Shallan want to get back to her studies. And then Shallan feels a stab of guilt because Jasnah was going to great effort to train her, and she was just going to wind up betraying Jasnah. And Shallan, she looks at the books that Jasnah is studying, and she memorizes the volume that Jasnah has, Shadows Remembered. Shallan wonders what it is that Jasnah is pursuing and plans to try to find that volume later to read it. But Shallan tries to tell herself that she cannot get drawn in. Her goal is to protect her family. And then King Taravangian arrives with a meal and asks to join the meal. Jasnah welcomes him in. As they eat and talk, Taravangian asks Jasnah how she got the Soulcaster. Jasnah says that's a dangerous question, and Taravangian says that he's already acquired enemies by welcoming Jasnah. But she tells him, well, you'll be forgiven. But his response is that, yeah, that's unlikely, but that's something else entirely. And Jasnah says that she cannot tell him where she got the Soulcaster. And Taravangian says that, he really came here for the meal because he heard about Shallan's artistic skills. He asked for a portrait, so Shallan, she takes a memory of him, and then she begins drawing. At one point, while they were talking with him, Shallan was about to say a quip that insults Taravangian, but held back and instead gives him a compliment.
That was more than a quip she was going to say. That was just straight up fucking mean. Your skin's leathery like parchment. Like, Jesus.
This is why I didn't like her. I told you she was being mean to that one guy. Like, her quips are just, mean. Like Tina Fey in 30 Rock, Thinking that,
this is just some old guy. And you're going to be like, you look old. No. My problem with this part is not that she's kind of mean. I think that's an interesting character quirk, and I really like how Jasnah describes that later. My problem is they keep using the word clever, and I'm not sure that they're using it in the way that I understand the word here. Because I'm like, clever denotes saying something like, you can say the arrogance thing it is clever you see two things match and it is. And a couple of the other comments are too. But thinking, I got to remember they live in a world where half of the population does not read. So just being able to notice skin looks like parchment is more clever than it is in our world where it's kind of just not that clever. So maybe I'm just not immersed in the world enough to understand.
No, it is. You're right. It's not clever.
I'm saying maybe the bar for what a clever person is a lot lower. That's what I'm trying to say.
And I also like where Jasnah was describing it, where Shallan, when she was growing up, she would always be, punished for it. And all that wound up doing was just make Shallan try to get out her quips faster to try to
Mm-hmm.
Just get them out as fast as possible.
I thought that was a really interesting, because she's designed to do it fast. It's not for the most clever stuff, and also to try to say stuff that will go over people's heads. So you don't want to say anything too good, you know. I thought that was really interesting, that her kind of like shitty, borderline traumatic upbringing with that stuff was turning her into a horrible bitch, you know. Probably similar to how her dad was in, you know, the way he treated them too. So she wants to steal from this woman. I'm like, this woman is the best thing that ever happened to you. Without her, like, you were going to turn into somebody like your brother who rips the fucking feet off crabs, you know? So again, her wanting to steal from her, you know, I think is not the right call. Though I understand why.
As Shallan is drawing the portrait of Taravangian, Taravangian and Jasnah begin talking about the Almighty and Jasnah's faith, and he asks her if it is hard having nothing to believe in. And Shallan pays close attention to this conversation, and she's just drawing kind of like in the background of her mind. She's just kind of doing that without paying attention to her drawing. She thinks about how she and Capsule have had similar conversations themselves about Jasnah's faith. And Jasnah, whenever other people ever talk to her about her faith, she usually changes the subject. But not today. She responds to Taravangian, and she says that, you know, she does have things to believe in, like in her uncle and her brother. Taravangian says that she has discarded what is right and wrong because, you know, that sort of thing is decided by the Almighty. But she responds that she believes in her own morality. She can determine what is right without fear of retribution. And Jasnah believes that there is something innate in them that knows that the good of society is also good for the individual. And Jasnah says that no god needs to declare something for it to be true. Taravangian, you know, tells her that, you know, by doing that, then you've removed all purpose for the Almighty's existence. And she's like, yeah, I have. and he tells her that she makes her points effectively, but he still does not accept them. Jasnah asks if Shallan's finished with her drawing, and Shallan, you know, she looks at the picture, and yeah, it's good. Taravangian's there, background's there. And then she notices in the doorway behind Taravangian
The most fucked up shit you could ever imagine. I thought that was the funniest thing in the whole book so far. Oh, man.
Shallan has drawn two figures. They're wearing like stiff cloaks, like the cloaks are made out of glass. And instead of heads, they have these weird twisted symbols. And
with impossible geometries and angles. Literally drew something straight out of H.P. Lovecraft on her little casual sketch pad. And I'm sorry, and then writes it off like, I guess I was just distracted. It's just too fucked up. Oh, man.
And she knows these figures were not standing there when with that memory that she took.
I should hope not.
And so she questions, why did I draw this? And yeah, so Shallan crumples the paper and she says, I paid too attention to the conversation and I got sloppy. So she says, I'll make another one. And Taravangian, you know, after some back and forth, he accepts this and he leaves to go visit one of the hospitals and the sick that are there. And Jasnah, you know, after he's gone, she's talking to Shallan, and she says that Shallan had hesitated when talking to Taravangian earlier, and asked, what didn't you say? Shallan says it was something inappropriate. Jasnah tells her that Shallan misunderstood Jasnah was telling her earlier. It's good to be clever. Shallan says that she might have insulted Taravangian, and she had heard that people say he is slow of thought. Jasnah says those are just idle words from foolish people. And she says that, you know, Shallan, if you had told him what you were thinking, you might have made him laugh, too.
Honestly, I think she would have. I think he would have found that funny, seeing his personality. Mean, but funny.
And Shallan asked if Jasnah finds him dull. Because in her mind, she figured that Jasnah would not have a patience for a man like Taravangian. But Jasnah says that he is a wonderful man and reminds her of her uncle Dalinar. He's earnest, sincere, and concerned. But because he fears war, people say he is weak. In the past, a man who brought peace to his kingdom was considered great, but now they are weak. Jasnah says they could do well with more men like Taravangian, and she tells Shallan to never call him dull again. And Shallan asks if Jasnah really believes what she said about the Almighty. And Jasnah admits, alright, I may have overstated it a little bit. A true scholar must not close off their mind. Just because Jasnah has not found a convincing reason to join a devotee right now doesn't mean it cannot happen in the future. But Shallan says that Jasnah's conversation with the king wasn't fair. He didn't make the arguments someone more versed in foreign theology might make. And Shallan also says Jasnah minimized a vital part of the discussion, their hearts. Shallan feels a closeness to the Almighty and a peace when she lives her faith. Shallan asks how Jasnah can discard her feelings. But Jasnah tells her that those are Shallan's feelings, not Jasnah's. In Jasnah, she praises Shallan's rhetorical method and that they'll make a scholar of her yet. But Shallan thinks that she's not going to be a scholar. She is going to steal the Soulcaster and leave. And that's the end of that chapter.
I was very disappointed with Shalal's argument for religion, being that this is something we've seen in other books, because, I agree with Jasnah on this stuff. That's my feelings, basically. But when she says, there's an important fact you didn't bring up, I was so excited to see what it was, because I like seeing this kind of debate. And when she just says, the feeling of closeness you feel when you feel the Almighty, like, you can't discount that. And I was like, that doesn't argue, like, I understand the argument. That's interesting. There is an internal thing, and she brought up the feelings of morality men have as her reason that she didn't argue that, or that was an argument against what Jasnah was saying. But I was like, but Jasnah didn't say our feelings are why I don't believe there's a God. She specifically said that humans know that what's best for society is best for the individual. So that's where our morality comes from. She had a very clinical justification for why our feelings can be trustworthy. And I was very disappointed we didn't get a good argument against that. I was super excited to see it. And that Jasnah was like, very well argued, because I did not think it was well argued at all. So I hope later in the book they'll continue this and I'll get to see some deeper theological argument on this, like we got to see with Szeth's entire atheist arc in the Mistborn books.
I doubt
that's
it.
probably what's that? You doubt it?
I doubt it if it's going to be Shallan. Maybe they'll meet another character.
No, I didn't think it'd be her, because she doesn't seem to think about that much. But a different character, or even a deity itself of some sort.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
No, I was just disappointed for the writer. That's what it was. I was really excited for something there, but we didn't get anything.
Yeah, I really like how Brandon writes Jasnah and her whole atheism. Because we all know Brandon Sanderson, he has a strong faith that he believes in, yet he's still able to write a good atheist character. Because one thing I've seen in fiction is so many times when I see like a atheism or an atheist character, I've seen it so many times swing so far one way or the other. Either it's somebody where, yep, they're atheists, they don't believe in God, and it just tries to make them seem like a fool because, it's real, and you're just an idiot. Or the other side where the atheist character, they are so smart and brilliant, and they're all right, and anybody who has any sort of faith, it tries to treat them and anybody out there who ever believes in any sort of God as stupid for believing that. I like how with Jasnah, she has her beliefs, she gives them, but it's not trying to portray her as she's automatically right or automatically wrong.
And it doesn't portray him as stupid, even though he cannot articulate his argument. I think that from what we've read, I think that Brandon Sanderson, he was raised religious, I assume. Is that correct? Or
yeah.
Okay. So he seems like somebody who's raised religious, is very thoughtful, thought himself into atheism, but did not want to be an atheist. So worked through those thoughts to work himself back to being religious. I don't know anything about him, but that's what he seems like to me. Because he does the argument between, like, especially with Szeth and here, he does the argument on both sides too well. So it's really fascinating to me to see. Like somebody who, a lot of people always question faith and stuff, but some people need intellectual rationalization to be faithful, and some people do not. He strikes me as the former, but I'd like to read about that. I don't want to know too much now, because I don't want it to color my thoughts on the writing too much, but that's the vibe I get from him, and I'm excited to learn more about him once I've got a much bigger, read more. Does that seem true to you? Does that seem like it to you, Sheta, or no? Is that just me reading my own thoughts in?
Of course, that's a constant theme in his books, and there's always characters with those beliefs and thoughts and stuff, and we always see a good exploration of whatever religion is in the book be explored and talked about and discussed. So I think so. And like people's writing always kind of like help them work out some of the stuff in their heads too. So I could see that.
This is off topic, but I found it so fascinating in Mistborn how it's an atheist religion. There's some ancient power, people have been taking it and then calling themselves gods. And you're like, okay, so it's one of those like, like Star Trek religion where there's always an explanation for it. But at the same time says it's like, oh, the ancient prophecies have said it needed to be all these things. And I'm that, and I was in the exact place I needed to be to fulfill this holy role, which turns that on its head. I just find that very interesting. And then kind of leaves it up to question what exactly is true and what's just how people interpret it. And I really enjoy that because if you just straight up answer it, I mean, it becomes science, not religion, gets kind of, if there's no element of faith, it's not faith. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's always a twinkle in the eye at the end.
Yeah. Like maybe Santa is real like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
at the end of
thinking.
like a kid's cartoon. So I hope to have some, I would be happy to just read an entire book of his where two fictional characters debate the merits of a made-up religion. That's the kind of stuff I'm here for.
All right. Anything else from this chapter either you two want to go over?
I'm very excited to see these figures that she's just seeing. And it's so funny to me to have like a horror movie scene where somebody's like, hey, let me see what you draw. And she's like, no, it just breaks it up.
That was that scene scared me a lot.
It was freaky. It was out of fucking nowhere too.
They're just talking, and I just heard the music and I got a shiver up my spine when I like if I drew something like that and I'd be like, what the fuck is that? And I would be so scared. I was sad you didn't tell Jasnah about it and the king, or at least save it and show Jasnah,
Then look like a crazy person.
It's not craziness. She has a weird power to draw and stuff and have.
She does not think she has a weird. Yeah, we think that, but she doesn't think that. Well, doesn't attribute any supernatural element to her, like photographic memory. Like if you just I know you would, but if you were in this situation with your mentor and a king, and you were drawing them, and you just accidentally drew two of the most fucked up things of all time, would you really be like, hey guys, look at this? Like, I don't know. And then they'd be like, yeah, why did you draw that? I have no fucking idea. Okay, cool. Well, you're insane. Please get out.
I think if in a world where magic and stuff exists, I would want to study that.
They don't think it's magic in this world, though. They don't think of it as magic. They don't call it magic. It's just the way things are in this world. Like the stone thing, it's totally normal to them.
Okay, maybe not magic, but like strange things happen.
They're not strange to them. That's what I'm trying to say. To them, there's nothing strange happens in this world. High storms are normal, so those stones are normal. Everything's normal.
And keep in mind, they don't know about the powers. Like Szeth is like the only person that has used powers, and from when Sadeas was talking to Dalinar, he was saying, "Yep, the Radiants pretended to have powers, and they were found out. They left and all that."
Okay,
so it's
that's true. There's precedent in world that pretend. Shard plate is just a thing that exists. That's like
it's an incredible thing.
That's like also, saying gravity is magic because other planets don't have gravity,
Oh my god. Okay, well what about all the other stuff? There's just too many unexplained and spectacular things.
I agree with you, but they don't know about the other culture's stuff that well, Like not everyone even knows about the Parshendi growing fucking armor, Like like you said earlier, the cultures do not seem very unified. They seem very separate, But it seems like a lot of them have different understandings of the worlds and different powers. Like how Rock knows about the like he can see Syl. He can see her, but
yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. But to him, not being able to see it, he's like, everyone can see that. You're stupid, No,
I guess if you think that breathing heavy air is a big thing, then
exactly.
And no, Rock did not say everyone can see it. Yeah, he said, I can't remember what the phrase was. He said he was a specific thing, and that's why he could see Syl.
Okay, well, there you go. But it's not weird to him.
Yeah.
And
Like with
you
Mistborn,
two,
they did the metal was thought of as because it was so rare, and in same with the color stuff. But this stuff just like they're fucking transmuting rocks and shit into food every day. Like this is a very strange world because that is a normal thing here.
They didn't do the shit though.
I thought.
Just
Oh no, they
rock.
turned it into a vapor. Yeah, that was it.
yeah, that
They
sort of
do
stuff
not
they
eat
believe
their
is
shit.
just.
They don't go that far.
Yep, that's like the soul casters, the other Fabrials, like the shard plate, shard blades. That is all technology to them. They believe that shard blades and shard plate were technology left to them from the Radiance somewhere in the past. Soul casters are something that was created sometime in the past.
Mm-hmm. Also, religion. There's a precedent to pretending to have powers. That I would be worried about if I started saying I have powers when it was like a big no-no in that whole thing's backstory.
Yeah, because either people believe that they were pretending to have powers, or they believe that people had powers and then betrayed humanity. Mm-hmm. They always say that the Radiants betrayed them at an event called the Recreants.
Everyone betray me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, seems like this whatever's happening with Shallan is kind of in going into hoodoo territory. Like
hoodoo territory?
Yeah, like if that's all science, this whatever's happening to her is like not.
Well, I don't think it is science, just personally. I'm giving the argument for what the people in universe think.
So, were you two happy getting back to see Shallan and Jasnah?
Happy? I don't know. I like seeing. I like learning some of the stuff that's.
Last we heard, Shallan won you over.
She did not win me over. She just. What happened? She just.
Am I wrong in recalling that Sheta picked her as her favorite character of the week?
She did.
Oh, I did.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do? Why did I do that?
Because she was more humble than you thought she was.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she got in with Jasnah. Okay. That gave her a second chance. That's what happened. But yeah. I was happy to see other stuff that wasn't like war stuff or slave stuff. So that was fun.
I was glad to see Jasnah again, and I really liked learning that she actually does have a respect for her uncle, who we followed for so damn long.
She loves her uncle. Very cute.
And that she puts on this air of, what is it, like haughty intelligence, like doesn't care about anything, but she actually has morals, unlike a lot of people in this society.
Mm-hmm. Very unique character. Yeah, I'm happy to see Jasnah. Not
All
enough of the guy that she's talking to.
Capsule?
Your ship with the religious guy?
Yep. Like, what else did you talk about? Not just politics and religion, right?
That's all they talked about before. I don't know why you expect it's going to be different. When one guy's a fucking priest and the other one's like training under one of the like top people of society, I don't know what the hell else you think they're going to talk about.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Did you catch game
there
last
should be a
week?
part where they're like,
no, I was
all right,
studying.
enough talk, and then they'll kiss.
Oh God, no.
Also,
for the record,
Ardents
I do not support this one at all.
What?
Why? I will say Ardents are kind of weird because they're not just priests; they're also kind of like the scientists in the world.
Yeah,
like a super nerd.
A lot of old-timey times are like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have some Ardents that are more on the religious side. Some of them you'll meet will be more like studying all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. So male Ardents are allowed to read. Ardents for men are allowed to read and stuff.
Well, I know what I'm becoming in this society. I want to fucking read. I don't want to keep running into battle and fighting a bunch of crabs.
Just that Ardents are exactly my type. Super nerdy and religious and into books. Like
All right. So the chapter title was Arrogance. So why was that chosen to be the chapter title?
It's a metaphor for how the translation not making any sense is how the world itself doesn't make sense when you look too deeply at it, and that people like Jasnah and the king must struggle with that when trying to understand each other, when neither side can fully grasp the truth of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's it.
Something like that. The entire country of Roshar is arrogant about whatever's happening to their world. Whatever is the truth. Is that basically what you said?
No, I said something that wasn't based on the text in any way whatsoever. Yours actually made sense
Oh, okay.
and was drawn upon what was actually the themes of this book and the ideas put forth. I agree with you.
All right. Now we are going to move on to the next chapter, chapter 30, Darkness Unseen. Epigraph. They were suddenly dangerous, like a calm day that became a tempest. This fragment is the origin of a Thaylen proverb that was eventually reworked into a more common derivation. I believe it may reference the Voidbringers. See Axies Emperor 4th chapter.
See, I like this talk of some ancient thing and then sourcing it back to some made-up thing they just made up in here. All this like fake history book stuff. I don't know why. I just find this so interesting. It reminds me of, I don't know why.
You're a nerd. That's what.
I guess so, but I'm only a nerd for fictional.
This is from this.
Fictional. No, I'm not interested in fictional history. That's boring. But when you say that some fictional people took some saying and then appropriated it to some other saying with some weird little fictional annotations from a fictional scholar's book, suddenly I get super interested. I don't know what to make of that.
I like my conclusion.
I like fictional history. I like the book Fire and Blood. That one was cool.
Yeah, I'm not into fictional history. I don't know. It just isn't that interesting to me.
Are you not super into chronicling the DC history?
Yeah, but that's not fictional history. You can read all that.
But aren't you not into those like
that's real history.
encyclopedias? Oh, okay.
That's real history. That's totally different. That all happened. However, when somebody just makes something up and says it happened and it didn't, I'm also interested in that in there. So,
see, it's whatever thing you're into.
If you wrote a book that was like Fire and Blood in a fictional world and a history, I would not be that interested. But if you had it be about two scholars reading the same ancient texts and interpreting them differently and arguing, I would really want to read that book. That would be so interesting. I got to find somebody must have written that by now. I want to see that.
I'll write it where two guys are discussing the Silmarillion. Is that what you're saying? Like,
they'd have to be in-universe guys for an in-universe text arguing about, like I liked in this part when Shallan and Jasnah were talking and she's like, what was it?
Was it the history of the young people that did stuff?
Yeah, it was the histories where they're like, oh, these people were provenly very, like, jump to conclusions, very emotional. Like, you can't trust this history as well as you can this other guy's that's more clinically written. I found that part really fun and interesting.
Okay. So you're a nerd.
Yes. I don't think anyone on this podcast could pass as not being a nerd.
No, I
Between
understand
Joe's
the
extensive
difference
knowledge, your
yeah.
fucking ships, and whatever the hell I'm talking about here.
All right, so the chapter begins, and all of Bridge 4 now follows Kaladin. The last holdout, Bissig, gave in yesterday. Kaladin thinks that he might not have given in from the food and humanity, but instead from the glares from the others or threats from Teft and Rock. But Kaladin doesn't mind. He'll eventually earn their loyalty, but for now, he'll take their obedience. And then we jump over to a Gaz point of view.
What the fuck? This was weird. I'm like, I don't want to know Gaz's perspective on life. What the fuck?
Yeah, I did feel a bit slimy just being there.
I actually had I'm like, I bet Gaz is a bit deeper than we give him credit for. These chapters made me think, no, he's actually about exactly how he seems from the outside. It didn't humanize him more. Yeah, I was just like, oh, yeah, he's exactly as he acts. Mm-hmm. Like, I think he can still have not a redemption, but, it's not like he chooses this life he's in, but I had hoped he would have a tragic backstory.
Nope, he's like a cartoon Starscream personality.
I don't know if I'd go far.
I mean, you can't trust. That's all.
No, don't trust this guy at all. No.
Like when you felt like you couldn't trust him, you were right.
Yeah, that was a correct assessment.
Uh-huh.
All right, so Gaz is watching Bridge 4 as they practice with the bridge, and he has never gotten used to his missing eye. He just could not stop feeling like something hid in the darkness that he could not see.
I did love that description of having one eye. Like I would feel like that constantly. Like
That he's just fixated on it. That was so fascinating to learn about
yeah.
him.
Just like,
And he's
"Ugh,
like kind of
what am I
paranoid and
not
weird about
seeing?"
it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that kind of feeling about it. Kind of like a phantom limb, but the phantom eye would miss what it would have seen, you know? Like
That's not how I
that would drive me
interpreted it.
crazy. Oh, that would drive me crazy.
Yeah. I'll talk about that later, though. But yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what it's like to have one eye. I should read somebody describe it sometime. I always just assumed you wouldn't think about it, or you wouldn't. Your vision would adjust, but we're built to have two. So yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, the science behind like the two images creating one is very interesting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Lamoral waves Gaz to come over to him. So Gaz goes over, and we've heard Lamoral a couple times and stuff. He's the light eyes that's in charge of all the bridge crews. So Gaz goes over to him and he gives some spheres that he owes, and Lamoral says that this is not even half of what Gaz owes him. And Lamoral says that Gaz has a problem with Bridge 4. Gaz responds, they're fast, but Lamoral says that they are insubordinate. Bridge 4 follows his orders. Their purpose is to protect the lives of more valuable man. Gaz gives a sarcastic response, and Lamoral asks if Gaz would like to join them. And Gaz hates himself for being a part of all this bridge stuff, but he does not want to end up as a bridgeman. And he suggests that they kill Kaladin with like a knife in the back or some poison, but Lamoral snaps back no.
What a dumbass.
They cannot turn Kaladin into a martyr and make him seem like he was a threat. Kaladin must die on a bridge run. Lamoral tells Gaz to make certain that it happens, and also to get him the rest of the money that he owes him, or else Gaz will wind up on a bridge crew. And now Gaz is stuck between two choices. If Kaladin dies, then he loses that extra sphere he gets, which he has been using to help pay back Lamoral. But if Kaladin doesn't die, then Gaz will be punished.
Man, the troubles of being a Gaz.
I like guys like this because I'm like, I can really feel your struggle. And at the same time, fuck you.
Yeah, why do
I
you
don't care.
Like, yeah.
I like characters you can
go
empathize with and still wouldn't shed a tear if they suddenly got shot. Like, because you're like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be any different in your situation, but this is a heroic book and I don't like people like you.
Also, like, you probably got yourself in this situation, so
The money thing for sure, but the bridge crew thing, I'm curious to know how he got here.
It's just that someone else in that position, say Kaladin, would not be being like Gaz, So he is despicable for that. Just alone.
It's a good question because it's interesting that in a little bit Kaladin still doesn't know why they won't let them have shields. He doesn't know they're supposed to die, So like Gaz knows they're supposed to die. He knows exactly why they're supposed to be here. And if he tried to help them live, he would be going against direct orders and he would be put on a bridge crew, So it's an interesting question. What the fuck are you supposed to do if you're Gaz here,
Maybe that's why only Gazes get that position, Like
I think you're probably right, actually. That's probably true. It's probably most people would be like, I would not like to do this. I would almost rather die than have this responsibility.
Yeah.
That's I like that. I didn't think of it that way.
And then we jump back over to Kaladin's head, and he tells
Don't
the men
you
that
ever
after
put me in Gaz's head again. I never want to be in there again. That was cruel and unusual punishment.
Well, I have some bad news for you for later in this chapter.
Damn it.
Well, would you want to be in like Sadius's head or somebody like that?
Absolutely, yes. Sadius seems very interesting to me.
I want to know what he's thinking.
Yeah,
Do
just
you
to
love
know if I
Adolin?
should trust him or not. Oh, God, no. Not that.
What about Elikar's head? Would you want to get his point of view?
I imagine we go there and it's John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. I don't think he's very smart. I wouldn't want to go there.
I would because I want to know more about his paranoid thoughts. So I would want to be in his head.
And so Kaladin tells his men that after 2 weeks, they are working as well as teams that he had trained for months. And, in the past 2 weeks, they've only had 2 bridge runs. And one of them was perfectly fine. Nobody got hurt. They didn't get shot at all. And the other one, they had lost 2 men, Amark and Kulf. And 2 of them had been wounded, Narm and Pete. And Kaladin thinks about how the bridge crew is eventually going to wind up drowning in its wounded. And he thinks that there must be a better way to be doing this. And Kaladin notices that Gaz is watching him. Syl comes over and tells Kaladin that Gaz is planning something. She had seen him talking with Lamoral. She didn't hear what they were saying, but she did not like their expressions. And Kaladin nods and says that Lamoral can't be trusted because he's a Light Eyes. But Kaladin's not going to worry about it, though. If they wanted him killed, and there was little he could do. Nobi and Sadis' camp would blink twice if Kaladin was brought up on some trumped-up charges and strung up in a high storm. And Kaladin leaves looking over the bridge in the wood, and he still did not understand why they don't allow bridgemen to carry shields. And when he would ask, nobody would give him a straight answer. And as he runs his hand over the wood, he gets an idea. A little bit later, Kaladin is meeting with Rock, Teft, Scar, and Moash. Bridge 4, he has broken it up into different squads, so these are the 4 men he has chosen to be squad leaders. And he points out spots in the bridge where they can hold it and be able to carry it sideways at a slant. Rock asks what good that would do, and in Kaladin's mind, he's thinking that, they could do this to try to use the bridge as a shield. But he doesn't want Gaz to overhear this, so he just tells them that, we'll do this. That way we're working other muscles and can rest some. So he has them go off and gather the men. That way they can test out this side carry. And Moash stays back and asks Kaladin why he was chosen to be a squad leader. And Kaladin answers that Moash had resisted him the longest and he was the loudest. And he struck him as someone that was capable and intelligent, but he also isn't swayed too easily. He's strong-willed. Moash says that, Kaladin, I don't think that you're a gift from the Almighty, and I don't trust you. Kaladin asks why he obeys him then, and Moash just shrugs and says that he's curious. And then we jump back into Gaz's point of view again. And Gaz is watching, and he's confused and surprised when he sees Bridge 4 doing this side carry. He stops Kaladin and asks what he's doing, and Kaladin tells him that, carrying overhead is tiring. And Gaz says that carrying sideways is just stupid. But then Gaz thinks that if they did this on an actual assault, then they'll go slowly and they'll be exposed. It would be a disaster for Bridge 4. So he tells Kaladin that he wants to see him try this side carry on a plateau assault. Kaladin says perhaps he will. Gaz smiles as Kaladin leaves. Now he just needs to find a different way to pay Lameral's blackmail. And that's the end of the chapter.
Gaz here seems like...
For me, I imagine Gollum when he thinks he's being all sly. He's like, yes, you do that, yeah. When he's plotting something evil.
Yeah. I was thinking of a cartoon where, there's a character who always wants to, get the other character hurt or killed or look stupid. And so they're like, yeah, do that. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Builds them up. And then the other guy just has, stunning success. And then they get so mad at them and, keep yelling their name or something. I have no idea what cartoon I'm thinking of, though.
Oh, man.
It kind of makes me think of Invader Zim.
No, like a Looney Tunes type cartoon.
No, you're
like
thinking
an older
of a Tex Avery type cartoon.
Yeah, I don't know which one, though.
Okay, so there's these 2 vultures, and they're really hungry in the middle of the desert. The mean one paints... Well, no, I don't remember what it was, but they paint a rock into a steak, and then the kind of dumb one eats it, and he eats like a delicious steak. And then the mean one's like, huh? He tries it, and it's just a rock, and his teeth break. And it's just those kind of shenanigans over and over again.
That is the exact kind of shenanigans I'm feeling from here. Where he'll be like, yeah, do that. And then they'll all survive and do well, and he'll be all mad, and then he'll wind up getting, shot with 100 arrows himself as he tries to run out and, show them why this shouldn't work or something. And then he'll be like, Kaladin!
Be like Wile E. Coyote draws
basically
a tunnel in a wall. Roadrunner runs through it. Wile E. Coyote tries and just runs into the wall.
But the version where characters talk, like Sheta's saying. But I have no idea what trope I'm even picking at there. I just think we've got a potential...
very old thing. Like Three Stooges even,
Yeah, kind of. But we've got a good little cartoon show we could do here.
little Kaladin or little Kaladin and Gaz.
Kids version of Stormlight Archive. Stormlight Archive Babies, we'll call it.
Yeah, chibi
It'll be a
version.
huge hit.
Oh no, another one of our Bridgemans is killed. Like,
No, in this version, the Bridgemen never get killed. He keeps getting orders from above to keep not being killed.
oh, Bridge 4 survives again. Yay! Like that.
I think the baby thing confused you too much on what I'm trying to say for the vision. So I will just rest this very stupid comment that I had on this, how I felt about this.
Anything else for this chapter you do want to go over?
Just that, was there not a moment where Gaz kind of saw something by Kaladin that might have been...
There was. I was waiting for theories for that. Oh, you thought that was Syl?
Oh, I just said maybe. I didn't really think about it, but yeah.
But yes, there was a weird moment like that.
It wasn't a fairy. It was dark. So
no, what he did no. What he sees is darkness, and he thought he saw something in the darkness. So that could be Syl, you know.
Fairies or the Sprint aren't like that though. I don't know.
No, he just said he thought he saw something move. He never said the thing was dark, you know. What he said is he has a blackness, and sometimes he worries he sees things in the dark. That's what he said.
Okay.
So that theory is as good as any other. That's what I'm saying. But I do really wonder, what is Kaladin's reaction going to be when he finally learns allowed to have shields?
So this chapter was called Darkness Unseen. So why was that chosen for the chapter title?
Ooh, it's just like what we were talking about. Well, if it's Gaz's eye not seeing the void, you know?
Yeah.
Or maybe seeing the void in his missing eye.
And also metaphorically, I think pretty clearly, they've all had such darkness. That's all they could see. And now Kaladin has finally pulled them out of that.
Ooh.
All right. So let's move on to the last chapter for today. Chapter 31.
Oh,
Beneath
God.
the
Yeah, there was
Skin.
another one.
And it's another Kaladin flashback chapter. So we go 6 years ago. Cal and Liren are in the operating room, and Liren is drunk. He tells Cal that when he gets to Kharbranth to stay there. Don't come back to this tiny, foolish town. Cal says he was always told to return, and Liren says that, I was an idiot. They don't want me here. And what's happened is Rysn has demanded that Liren gives him back the spheres that Wistio had left to him. And since Liren has not given the spheres, Rysn has suggested to the townsfolk that, they should stop giving donations to Liren. Since Liren refuses payment for his services, then why should they give him anything? And Cal says, we should just spend the spheres then, but Liren denies it because they are for Cal's education. And besides, Rysn also wants them to spend them. And they have tried to appeal to Kharbranth to take Cal early as a student, but they have refused. And I
just realized, did his father create an early version of insurance here? Like, he doesn't take money, but he takes donations, So when you get sick or when you get injured, you don't pay, but you did likely already pay a great deal over time.
That's funny.
Is Brandon Sanderson pro medical insurance companies? Like, is that the moral here?
Well, he also, you don't charge, like anyone can get it, You only donate out of niceness, though.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the custom to donate,
I see.
I just
the
didn't
custom
realize
to have
that.
Health insurance, is that it?
Yeah, I didn't realize that until you worded it that way.
That's funny.
The people in the town, they regard Rysn with adoration and fear. And Cal figures that Rysn was banished here because he was bitter and flawed. He did not deserve to be among the real Light Eyes.
Little Cal loves Light Eyes so much.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
He thinks he might be one day.
so,
Shit like this over and over again.
Cal asks why they appeased Rysn when they never did that with Wistio. Liren says it's because Wistio let them do as they wished, so they ignored him. But Rysn finds them contemptible, so they scrambled to please him. And Liren says that he should not be hard on their neighbors. It's just the pettiness of the ignorant. Liren says that Rysn is not the kind of guy to spare a man once he's been beaten. He will keep on kicking. So that's why, he won't give back the spheres or spend them. Rysn, he's not able to get his revenge on his rivals that had caused him to come here. So now they are all he has to punish.
I was really interested in his very quick insight on this guy. I felt like he read him really well and has known plenty of people like this in his life.
Yeah. And we're all he has to punish, poor man.
Mm-hmm.
And Cal continues his studies, and he pulls a rock out of his pocket, and it's a rock that Tien had left for him on his chair. And Tien has now become an apprentice carpenter. Liren had wanted him to become another surgery assistant, but he just can't stand the sight of blood. And Cal, he knows that he will be leaving shortly one way or another, but he still has not decided whether he wants to join the army or to go to Kharbranth. But right now, he's kind of leaning towards becoming a spearman. If he goes that route, then he will have to stealthily go to the recruiters. But after he becomes 15 in 5 more months, then he will be old enough to be able to go with them, even with his parents' objections. And then there is a loud noise at the door, and Liren opens it. Outside, he sees 4 men standing there in masks, and some of them are holding metal bars. They demand those spheres from Liren, saying they aren't his. And Liren asks them, do you think Rysn would let you keep them? Liren goes, he grabs the goblet that is holding the spheres. It has kind of a covering over it. He goes over to the men, takes out the covering, and now all this bright light is outshining on them. And in the light, the men just did not look so scary to Cal. And he recognized them. One of them was, that guy who we saw in the one flashback where his daughter had died. I think he was Harl. And another one was Luton, who Liren had operated on his leg before. Liren tells the men that they've threatened violence and tells him, all right, come here, rob me. He tells them that he has lived among them and healed their children. He tells them to go ahead and bleed one of their own. And then the men just leave without a word. And that's the end of our chapters for this week.
It's interesting. I never really realized that a doctor and a soldier do looking at violent, horrible things.
Yep, it's all pretty gory. Or it can be.
If you're doing it right, it certainly is. On both sides.
You're going to have to be able to take that.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be squeamish. I thought Dad was badass in this chapter.
Yeah, this was the first time I liked him. I never really liked him before.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know if I like him that much. I feel like his heart's in the right place, but I do think they would more if you charged, because then they'd be thinking it was their choice to do this, On the other hand, they could resent you more for charging, and then the person dies and thinking you just swindled them. So I don't know.
This is also a culture where that's like their cultures are getting me all twisted with things being worth more than other things. Like, how is a doctor making less? And like he's doing it on purpose because doctors are some of the most valuable professions to us, So to have it be like looked down upon that he would be a doctor, it's just so.
Well, you think
like,
that's a medieval times type thinking where people are like, it's weird to like.
Oh, I don't
look
know
at
what
dead
he's
people.
doing. But I thought that I like that part when they say
I think
it's unholy to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
it's more the unholy. Technically, Kaladin, his family, they're kind of higher up in the Dark Eyes rankings and stuff. They're higher up there, but the whole thing is that people just don't trust doctors and feel it's unnatural. At least in this village. Maybe if they were in like a city, they would probably trust him more.
Mm-hmm. Where is he from? Just to
Kaladin?
Yeah.
He's from Alethkar.
Alethkar. Oh, okay.
Yep, he's from in fact, even where his village is, it's in Sadius's princedom.
Oh, wow. So he's all the way like that. What is a Vorin again? Sorry.
That's their religion, Vorinism.
Oh, okay, religion. That's the Alethi religion, or?
Yeah, I think in like one of the early Shallan chapters, they mentioned like the 4 Vorin kingdoms. When she was looking for books, they had there was a book that was a 4-volume set about the 5 Vorin kingdoms, but Shallan only knew of 4 Vorin kingdoms: Yakaved, Alethkar, Kharbranth, and Natan.
They didn't say what the 5th one was?
They did not. No, not in that. It was just they said 5, and Shallan was confused because she could only think of 4.
Mm-hmm. It's the Crab Town.
Just Crab Town is the name?
The Crab Town, yeah. That's the 5th kingdom.
that follows their religion.
Yep. But it's many times removed, so it's quite different now.
I'm not going to dig the response.
All right. Anything else in this chapter you want to go over?
No, I'm good.
All right. So this chapter was called Beneath the Skin. So why was that chosen for the chapter title?
Because he talks, the book, obviously, and looking under people's skin, which is, sacrilegious. But I think also because he's looking deeper than just how the people are acting, which is like a bunch of big, scary monsters as Kaladin sees them. But then when his father scares them off, he sees that they're just the townspeople. And then his father describes how underneath he doesn't even see them as bad. He doesn't seem to see many people as bad because he knows they're coming from their own place. And he can understand why they feel the way they feel. So I think it's just that.
Yep. I agree with that.
All right. So let's move on over to our theories and predictions segment. So I have 3 questions I'll ask you guys before I open it up to your theories. So first, with Szeth, he is beginning of the list to kill a whole bunch of powerful people. How's that going to go and what's going to happen?
I think that people are going to start dying kind of in the peripherals of the story. And all of our main characters are going to start suspecting all these other people and have all these war problems just like they're having with the Parshendi right now. Just kind of the basic way it's implied to be going. Tearing the people apart a little more too, and like whatever's coming, whatever he's supposed to be positioned to that.
I think that Szeth is very special, and I think that an Orseer kind of situation might happen where maybe he starts off like killing a couple of the smaller people and stuff, but then it gets to a point where he's like, I have to find a way to stop this, I have to find a way to go around the rules that my oath or whatever is keeping me from doing, and he'll try to find a loophole to let someone know what's going on and try to stop him. Try to get them to stop him and or the person controlling him. Yeah,
you're more optimistic than me.
The Orseer thing is like how he kind of found a loophole to get Vin to beat Zane and stuff like that, and kind of be on her side even though he couldn't,
All right. Next question. What the fuck were those things that Shallan drew?
Oh, yeah. I have one. They are Voidbringers.
Ooh.
Yeah. That is what keeps getting brought up, and they seem really scary and like something super mysterious and unimaginable. Like, so they must be just not in our world, not in our dimension or something. Like, yep, that's what I think. And I think that Jasnah is researching them. In the book that she's carrying, Shadows Remembered is about them.
You're right. The Shadows Remembered, yeah. And what was the chapter called? Darkness what? Darkness Forgotten, right?
Yeah, that's about
the
them
Kaladin
too.
chapter was Darkness Unseen.
Yeah,
Unseen.
I thought that the thing Gaz saw is probably one of those.
That's what I thought too when it said that he'd seen something. And that ties it to that. The fact that the book was called that. I didn't remember that. That makes me even more sure of that. That there is some darkness in the past that nobody really knows about anymore. And it is coming back, and it's tied to the Voidbringers and the ancient stuff we've seen.
Mm-hmm,
and why the people are told to practice war in this very specific way, because there is some enemy that they're like the whole Alethi culture, I think, is built around war because there's an enemy they're supposed to be fighting, but they're not serving their purpose. They're just playing in the meantime while the enemy's not around.
Yeah, they're not sure what their purpose was, right?
Mm-hmm. It even said most of the soldiers aren't that well trained, really. They just run in and rush out as quick as possible. They're not like killing machines, you know.
And I don't remember if this is true or not, but we kind of learned a little bit about the king feeling kind of down or something. Like is that, I don't remember, but that maybe that was why, like, he was being kind of haunted by these Voidbringers and stuff.
Which king? Elhokar or
I think the Voidbringer is going to be one thing.
Voidbringers. The one that got the portrait drawn,
Yeah, I don't remember anything about him being down, Sheta.
Oh, okay. I thought he was like kind of his nephew or something was feeling bad or I don't remember.
I think what it was is like maybe you're talking about the part where like Jasnah's like, oh, you'll be forgiven, and he's just like, yeah, that's unlikely.
Yeah. Yeah, he has some kind of darkness, some kind of thing.
Okay,
so
okay. Yeah, interesting.
These things are scary. They really scared me. That went into horror territory. I just wondered at the Kaladin flashback chapter when a thing is knocking at the door, I was so scared and stuff. And then when we opened the door, because it was all unnatural, like the scratching was described really scary. And to open the door and have it be these guys in these black hoods and stuff, it was like, I think it kind of like brought back a fear of those things, even if they didn't know it. Like it felt like an echo of the Voidbringers, and that's why he was so scared by them.
You're just calling them Voidbringers, Sheta.
Oh, yes, my guess about them being Voidbringers.
I do not believe they're Voidbringers.
Okay,
I don't think so.
Shadows remembered.
They very well could be, but I don't think they are. I think with the buildup of...
Oh, they are Voidbringers, plural, though, It's not just the Voidbringer. So I think that they are like a group.
Yeah. I just personally think it's going to be something larger. But that would be really interesting in the fact that she said earlier that they think that the giant crabs are like the biggest, scariest thing they can imagine. So they've just put it in place of that. But it's actually something that's a very different kind of threat. That is pretty fun. And I think we would agree that whatever allows Shallan to capture these images is why she was able to see those. Do you agree with that?
Yes, exactly. It's magical. Yeah. It's her third eye or something,
Yeah.
Like the way she remembers the people is not even how they look. She remembers their essence and kind of like who they are and stuff, And that's how her pictures end up being like super special because of that. And
so she's seeing their soul, right?
Mm-hmm. I even wonder if the king kind of suspects that, and that's why he wanted a portrait done, because it's kind of random. He was going to
give it to his niece. I don't think that's the case.
Likely excuse.
Please, I'm haunted by intangible nightmare spirits. I'm going to give a picture of this to my niece. Yes. Please capture it.
No. I've heard an old wives' tale about a third eye artist and stuff, and I would like you to maybe help. He wanted to see the picture pretty badly, but...
Well, yeah, wouldn't you? Somebody just drew a picture of you when you asked them to. And then they're like, no. I like your Voidbringers theory. I don't agree with him knowing it, though.
No, that was just a guess in the wind.
But I like the idea that with Gaz missing an eye, some other sense kind of activates and sees a darkness beyond what we see as reality, Especially if the Spren, they're all kind of light based and they come from somewhere, Maybe they're an oppositional force to this force because they're a life energy of some kind. I don't know, but the idea that he'd be missing an eye and he can inadvertently see shapes in this darkness that exists beyond and I hope that's the case, because I hope it's not that he just got a glimpse of a Spren. I would find that so boring, I want in his dying... actually, no, because we know that people see beyond, because those people were taking notes from people who died, I forgot, at the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
And trying to capture what they see on the veil between the world and whatever is beyond the world. So somebody definitely knows about this and just trying to research it. I wonder if those excerpts from the beginning of the book are actually from the book Jasnah's reading now. Because I don't think we got a source for where they came from, right?
No.
So
I think there's no source. There's no source. But we did see one of the bridgemen die and say one of those while he was dying. Yeah.
He said one of those exact lines?
No.
Oh, okay.
What he said was not one of those.
That I hear that. I'm just, I remember that.
A weird
I'm just saying, I wonder if those excerpts are from that book. and if those are the shadows remembered, something we knew before we were born, and then we come here and then we forget. And then they talk about the great beyond, you're supposed to keep fighting something. Maybe that's not bullshit. Maybe they are fighting something in the great beyond, That would be pretty fun. I would like that a lot.
That's my other theory about them. It's not, he didn't go to the past, he went to there, I call
No,
it
I'm
heaven
not
or
getting
hell.
in that one, Sheta. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I don't follow that they went to the afterlife, and
Okay.
they
I
were
wanted
too
to say-
specific about those names being ones from the past. You could still be right. I would be very interested to see it, but I'm not sold on it.
Past in that realm, yeah, that could still be their names. That's just where they went.
Maybe
Like,
that
if we
whole
went somewhere-
civilization died and went to the afterlife and continued. Is that it, Sheta?
Yeah, could be. Could be like, it'd be like going there and seeing like King Arthur and his knights and stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's still fighting to this day in that realm.
Mm-hmm.
Eternally. Yeah. Every time someone reads the stories. Sorry. I'm writing a whole thing. Okay. I did want to say about Gaz's eye, like having a missing eye, but still weirdly being connected to it. And the eye is basically dead, So maybe like that also is a connection to the darkness.
You're going a bit far for me. That's a weird, interesting idea, but I don't see enough evidence for it, but that's cool.
All right.
If
And
his
then my
eyes
last
just
question-
sitting there, if his eyes just sitting there in the afterlife watching shit happen, I don't think so, but that'd be fucking funny. Just waiting for you to die so it can pop back in.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, that does remind me of something that I know that you know of, where a character like removes their eye and gives it to something that goes into the future. That way he can see what happens in the future.
I don't remember this. That seems like something I would remember.
Oh, I can tell you later, and I think you would remember it, but I don't want to spoil it for Sheta.
I see.
All right, so my last question I'll ask you too is, how will things go when Kaladin does side carry on a plateau assault?
Incredibly well. I think it's going to go super great, and Gaz is going to be really panicked, and he's going to get chewed out by that guy, and it's going to inspire all the bridgemen to carry the bridge in a different way because they see that this guy's got something, and it's going to ruin this whole thing, and people are going to come down hard from the top, say it, and going to lead to Kaladin learning about what's going on and amassing more power amongst the bridgemen, and just getting really, really bad for all the people who want things to be going the way they are. That's my expectation.
Yeah, basically that, which will be hilarious for Gaz.
Yeah, it's going to be super funny.
He's going to be waiting for him to die and be like, what? Not only did he survive, his entire crew survives.
Yep. It's going to be the first bridge assault that had 0 casualties.
Mm-hmm.
But then the people are going to come in and just slaughter all the people that they have that they're trying to help with their injuries and and then put Kaladin out in a storm, And then when the storm comes, Kaladin's going to live, and everyone's going to say the gods kept him alive, and it's going to get really bad for the people above.
Whoa. You're getting so ahead in the book.
That's
Justin.
my expectation of what's going to happen.
That's funny, because I started to do that, and then I stopped myself. So now I'm going to say what I thought was going to happen.
What was it?
They're going to do the bridge run and succeed, and then, people are going to get mad, like, Sadius is going to get mad. He's going to come down. But then Dalinar will be down too, and he'll be like, what's your name, son? And then he'll say that this man was smart and that he'll take him and his crew for his bridge and that this is the new way.
That's interesting too. But Dalinar's going to step down.
Well, before he tells anybody that this is going to happen, so he doesn't actually.
I think that's too optimistic, Sheta. I think things have to get horrible.
All right, now open up to you two for whatever theories you have.
Didn't we already say? Oh no, we just wound up discussing. Yeah, my only real theory is that the entities she drew are tied to the ones or tied to what Gaz sees, and then what we built upon that I now believe as well. Well, most of it.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you.
Oh, I just said that my only theory was that the things that Shallan saw are the same things that Gaz is seeing out of his peripherals, and it's
Okay.
something in the darkness.
That.
I didn't
Okay.
yet have the connection with the book Jasnah was reading, so I
You're
like that. Yeah, that was a really good catch. And then I do think that the excerpts may be from the book, and she's researching whatever this is, that all the details we're kind of getting loosely are all going to kind of tie together in the same basic idea of what the face of the enemy is that we're actually going to be facing. And that's why the armies are supposed to be so well put. Just all the stuff I said earlier. I basically laid out my entire theory.
Okay. Now with that, I wonder what Jasnah is hoping to find, because she basically tells Dalinar, she's like, I'm gonna come to the front lines as soon as I'm done reading this book, basically. like she needs to see something, and she specifically wants to see one of the chasm fiends. Is that what the drawing was? Like, I wonder if she wants to, I don't know, just confirm that it's not a Voidbringer or something. Like, I don't know. I think that's interesting. Last week, Data asked if we thought there was a secret villain, or I don't remember the term exactly, but we were guessing all these people, but I totally forgot about Non-Balat. I was like, did I forget or did I say?
No, last week you said, I know eventually you said Renarin.
Oh yeah.
But I
Okay,
think
yeah, Renarin. I also said the queen. Yeah.
Oh, Navani. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think Justin threw out Rock.
Rock? I never said Rock was the secret. And if I said that was as a joke. No, my secret villain is the king.
Oh, yeah, Elokar.
Yeah, but yeah, I forgot about Non-Balat. And I thought, like, for sure he's a secret villain. But then after hearing his kind of blubbering, I don't think he's like, I thought maybe he would be like an idiot villain, like to kind of hide his evilness or something. Or even a person who's kind of dumb but has like malicious intents and stuff, you know? I don't think so. But now I'm wondering, is his betrothed the secret villain?
Jeez.
Alita. You know, I have this idea and I feel a little bit sexist, but I don't trust the women in this world. Like,
You shouldn't. There's something
like,
fucking weird here.
yeah.
You can't just have a society where men can't read, especially when they're in the field doing this specific stuff. There'd only be two reasons for that.
There
One,
has to
because men having too much knowledge led them to doing something dangerous in the past. So someone decided men will just fight. We don't need them to fight and know this stuff. It makes them too ambitious, you know? The other reason is because somebody knows something and wants to try to stop half the population from finding it, you know? And then it's buried in the things men would find interesting, which would be stuff more to do with these combat related things, you know. I do not trust this society at all for that exact reason. I don't distrust the women, but I think that something's buried in there in a place that they believe men would easily find or put together based on what they've seen out on the battlefield. That's been my feeling too, yeah.
I think it's interesting that Jasnah is the one person who is outspoken about not believing in the religion and kind of studying this stuff, you know?
I agree that I think it's something Jasnah's likely touching upon.
But in every kind of society where, like, politics and war and stuff is such a big deal, there is a system of information traders, you know? And who has all the information in this world? The women do, you know? I just think that they have some kind of a network for sure where they are actually controlling everything, you know?
Well, I think too, like, the women don't have the information. A select group of women have access to the information, you know?
So yeah, I think Alita, his betrothed, is a part of that.
I don't think that, though. I don't think the moral of the story is you can't trust a bitch. I don't think that's the moral of the story.
I didn't say that. You just the Shallan's comment about, like, she's super nice, but she's really stupid, you know, is so dismissive, and that is the perfect place to put in a spy, you know?
I disagree. I think there's a lot of people who are just super nice, but super, super stupid.
Well, of course.
And also a spy to what? Like, what's this random family we have worth spying on?
Well, maybe they're just a tool. They were given a
Yeah, a tool for what?
tool among many for some kind of dark cabal.
Oh,
Just the fact that we know a mysterious force wants Szeth to just knock out all these pillars, and set off some kind of chain reaction. So I just wonder if they would also be capable of setting these other pieces in place, That's all. For when that happens. You
what
can't
are
just
the
knock
pieces? That's what I'm trying to ask.
like
What are the
major
pieces in
major
place?
houses, minor houses,
Oh, all houses. What would be the benefit of giving this house a way to get richer and then coming back and trying to take it back? Like, what would be the possible benefit for placing one of your agents here is what I'm asking.
Well, I don't remember, but I have this feeling or everyone is kind of spread out around the world and stuff, And if somebody tried to take down Alethkar by uniting these smaller countries, then that would be a way to do it.
Okay. So you think they're putting pieces into place in a lot of small houses with the plans of taking out the big fish and then guiding the small fish in a certain direction you want them to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Basically, a
Okay.
takeover.
Now I have an answer.
6
Now, do you
of
think
the
that, or is
princes,
that just an idea you've had?
No, that
Or
was
is that
kind of the
actually a
idea.
theory?
Because
That's
so
your
many
theory?
one of them, I guess.
Isn't that kind of what the witches do in Witcher? I have not read those, but I remember a line in the game alluding to something like that, like put all these women in these very high positions of power because they can influence.
There is a kind of a club that they form beneath the normal club,
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically. Like, they know where the real power is in all the places,
I see.
So,
Any other theories?
Well, I think the Parshendi was framed for sure, and framed by whoever owns Szeth now.
I'm sorry, but
And
don't we know for a fact that Parshendi gave him his orders? I thought I thought he just told us that.
no,
That a Parshendi gave him his orders, and that's why he was dressed in white, because that was the Parshendi way.
oh, I don't know. Even then, he changed hands so much. I feel like we don't know who gave the real order. It's kind of like hiding.
No,
something.
I remember him telling us, the viewers, that a Parshendi gave him his order. Now, I could be remembering wrong, but that's how I remember
maybe.
it.
Yeah. It's from Szeth's point of view. He was told the Parshendi had given him his orders, and also the Parshendi afterwards they took credit for the assassination.
Well, yeah, I know they took credit. That doesn't necessarily mean they did it, but I remember him saying that. Yeah.
But that could be a red herring.
Yeah, it could be that a wizard had given him his order and dressed up as a Parshendi.
I'm just
mean,
saying.
It could be anything.
Szeth is a assassin who who obeys whoever holds his gem. So that's all I'm saying.
So you're saying that a Parshendi was not holding his gem in that moment?
Yeah.
And when I say, I remember him saying that a Parshendi gave him that order, you're saying...
Even if they did...
Okay, something behind the Parshendi who ordered him. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, I get you now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any evidence to believe that, or is that just...
I just think that this fighting the Parshendi thing is just a distraction, and that Alethkar have so many other enemies. Like, we just spent these chapters going around the world, and I think it's really interesting how many people could hate them and want them to be taken down and stuff.
This is not a theory, I just had a thought. What if the Parshendi know of the threat coming, and they know the Alethi are the greatest ones to fight it, but the Alethi's wars have been just pathetic little land skirmishes, so they killed the king to provoke a war to make the Alethi tougher, so they could fight it, and have been basically sacrificing their lives to train the Alethi. That is not a theory, but I think that'd be very funny.
Wow, that's an interesting...
Because I do think the Alethi culture exists to fight this enemy, and they have forgotten that.
Yeah, they were like of a of a higher calling and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think their warmongering serves a purpose that they've lost to time. And I think it could turn them from my most hated faction to the most badass faction, if they remember that.
I think they are badass. Just not having a focus and stuff, you know.
All right.
All right. Wait, sorry. I
Okay.
have one theory that is kind of silly, and okay, hear me out.
Okay, Sheta, before you speak, theory or idea?
An idea.
Okay, then I will not be critical
Okay.
of it, and I would love to hear it.
All right, yeah, this is just an idea, or what's the word you used last time? That's not theory, but it's
Crackpot
conjecture.
conspiracy. Yeah,
Oh.
conjecture. No, because conjecture is also based on what's in the text. An idea is just, what if this? A theory is, well, based on this, and this, I think it might be this.
I always
So,
have those.
idea. No comment, but I'd love to hear.
All right. Well, first, I did not realize how young Jasnah was. I thought she was the murdered king's sister, not the current king's sister. So I thought of her when we first were introduced as a kind of older matronly woman. But if
you
she's
mean in
the
the
king's...
original? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's
So
in her 30s.
okay, yeah, but I thought she was like 60 or something. So, all right. So hear me out. Shallan and Jasnah.
New ship?
Will she trust me enough to let me in the bath with her? And then
Oh, it
maybe
is a new ship.
maybe there's another way of getting close to her.
She doesn't want to marry Sheta. I think you have
Yep.
more evidence that Jasnah's gay than you do for frickin' Sadius.
Idolin.
That's for sure.
Sadius is married.
Yeah, well, that didn't stop Sheta.
Marriage is just a paper. Yeah, but so yeah, Jasnah and Shallan. I wonder if they, you know, they're what was I saying? With her training and stuff, caring a lot of and really relating with each other and stuff. Okay, but my one thing was when...
Besides them standing together and saying maybe I could see her naked in the bath for a second, is there anything
that was a
here?
weird conclusion.
No, it wasn't.
All right, but the main scene that got me thinking this is Shallan drawing at lunch and stuff, and then Jasnah weirdly letting her draw it, even though she didn't respect drawing or didn't think much of it. But she said that highborn men found it enticing in a woman, so she should retain the skills and stuff, you know. So, yeah, you know.
So that's her saying, highborn men finding it enticing, and since I like women, I find it enticing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What about when she immediately follows it up with, you should, because eventually you'll need to find a suitor?
That's just Jasnah's way and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so then Shallan didn't know whether or not to find it insulting because it was probably confused how she said it, you know. And maybe she wanted Jasnah to like her drawing and stuff.
Okay, Brandon Sanderson, I got a message for you on this book. You got to get some fucking romance in here. Sheta is starving to death. She's jumping at romance shadow. She's shipping anything with two legs she can see. She's like, oh yeah. Soon we're gonna have frickin' Dalinar and a frickin' what the giant crabs next time one comes. She's gonna be shipping, and we're going to be revolted.
Dalinar's the one that has had romance written with him.
Yeah, and she's still jumping at stuff with it.
Wait, so Sheta, all right, does this mean you're dropping your capsule Shallan ship?
No, that could still be there. Shallan is a young
wait.
lady.
That could still be there. You have given me a ship that makes me reconsider the ship I hated that you gave me earlier. Now I'm like, hey, that one kind of makes sense compared to this one.
No, like, she's still, like, working through her options, finding out about herself, you know? She might like Cabsol because he's hot and stuff, but she also has a connection with Jasnah that's unlike any other connection she's had.
You mean the connection of a mentor and a student? Is that what it is? Also, she's only had an abusive father and abusive teachers. I just don't see romance here. You're not selling me on it. I'm sad because I would be all for this ship. I would support it 100% if I could see anything in there. But you're not selling me.
I don't have to sell it to you. But yeah, Jasnah is clearly not interested in marriage, though, you know.
I would be lying through my teeth if I said I did not want to see that bath scene that was described. But I still don't think there's going to be a ship.
Justin, here, I'm going to go back to chapter 5. The first sentence in chapter 5. Shallan had not expected Jasnah Kholin to be so beautiful.
Shut the fuck up, Joe. Shut up. Do not fuel this. Do not fuel
See?
this.
She's beautiful. It's love.
That is a common thing for women to say about each other when they see somebody
You
they
said
expected to be an
so
old
beautiful.
hag. She expected her to be an old, ugly woman, and that's why she wasn't married.
Yeah, but she's smart, she's beautiful, and she's teaching her all these new things.
I'm sorry, Sheta. Has Shallan fallen in love with her, or have you?
Didn't I not say that I am Shallan?
I guess. Okay,
so-
well then I guess we have our answer on what's going on there.
Now, I am not I'm not a big fan of like Yaoi and Yuri and stuff, so I don't usually ship like this, but so this is just a disclaimer that I'm not like jumping at just any.
You could have
two
fooled
people.
anyone listening, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I'm just saying I don't usually do ships like this, but the chemistry is there, I think.
Yeah.
All
And
right,
it's just,
so
yeah.
all right. So let me get all your ships straight. So right now you're shipping Kaladin with Syl, Adolin with Sadeas, and Shallan with both Capsule and Jasnah.
Don't forget Dalinar.
And who was Dalinar? Didn't have a.
Yes, she does with his brother's ex.
Okay. So I didn't know if Sheta was behind that one. So you have that.
Oh, I'm behind it.
And I guess also technically Kaladin and Tien.
Don't fucking remind me.
No, when I thought that theory, it didn't mesh, so it's either one or the other.
All right. So I'm gonna take it. We're done with these theories and predictions now.
Please,
So
God,
let's
I
move
hope
on.
so.
Let's move on to character of the week.
I'm gonna go with Jasnah for putting Shallan in her place and teaching her not to be such a know-it-all, or to not be a dumbass, basically. Right? I think it's good for her.
I also pick Jasnah for teaching Shalal one of her worst character traits and encouraging her to take it and channel it towards a positive character trait instead, like teaching her a lesson without putting her down and realizing that her instructors putting her down was why she was the way she was. Giving a good argument for atheism, both in a fictional world and in the real world, and where morality can come from it. Researching this shit when everyone else in the world is just not even noticing that like some kind of apocalyptic thing is coming. And I thought I had another reason. I guess it was just those three. Oh, and for having no feelings of attraction whatsoever to her student. That's the other reason.
But it's a classic, Justin.
No, I'll say my real reason is because as Shalal gets to know her more and sees more of her, humanity and warmth, she keeps her cold, mechanical, like smart character feeling instead of like exposing a like bubbly, warm interior that would have made me hate the character.
Yeah, I see that.
And then for me, I'm going with Shallan. I just liked her in the chapter. She's the way that she's really getting drawn in, where she's going into the study and it's like, free for the first time, away from the oppressiveness of her father and all that. She's able to study how she kind of always wanted to, but at the same time, she knows this can't last. I have to try to steal the Soulcaster in order to protect my family. So she's just kind of getting drawn into this. It's getting real interesting. And then her drawing the weird fucked up things in the Taravangian picture was just a shocking part of it. All right. So let's go over to quotes.
My quote is from Jasnah. So let's see. Okay. So they're talking about what she's been reading and studying. Jasnah goes, "And your thoughts? I feel inadequate to draw conclusions, Brightness. What is the point of research if not to draw conclusions? My tutors told me that supposition was only for the very experienced, Shallan explained. Jasnah sniffed. Your tutors were idiots. Youthful immaturity is one of the Cosmere's greatest catalysts for change. Do you realize that the Sunmaker was only 17 when he began his conquest? Gavara hadn't reached her 20th weeping when she proposed the theory of the three realms. I just picked this because Jasnah says this a couple of times and I just feel vindicated that I can do whatever I want, Justin. You are supposed to draw conclusions, and your youthful immaturity is a great catalyst for the Cosmere. I feel like that was a message to me to keep.
Sorry.
What?
How did we forget to talk about them saying the Cosmere in book?
I know.
We'll bring that up next time. That was a big deal. Totally forgot to talk about it.
Yeah, I had it as my quote, and I forgot to bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
No, we'll do that next time because a lot of people have stopped listening by this point, I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah. And I think it's interesting that Jasnah is not researching. She is actually detectiving. And I wonder why that's such a big deal. Like, it's so different. Like, no one is doing that, And I was like, that makes sense since nobody in this world seems to know anything.
I like the commentary on where youthful stupidity kind of actually comes in usefully in changing the world. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Like, it's not always a bad thing at all, Yeah.
I had a really good thing to say about that too, but you said save it for next time, so.
No, I said save talking about the Cosmere for next time. Say the thing about the quote now.
Well, it's not really the quote because it's about the Cosmere, Just that when she's describing all the young people that made a difference, I thought she was going to throw Vin in there. Like,
that would have been so weird. I would not have liked that.
uh-huh.
I would not have liked that at all.
Yeah. Vin, Elend, and the
all these
Elantris
great
people,
heroes of the Cosmere. We all
Cosmere,
read those books, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. When she's like, the next book I'm studying is The Mistborn.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh
and I
god.
do wonder if these characters will show up in future books,
Here, Shalal, I have the mass market paperback edition for you.
Like, what is that book? I want to look it up later. It's Warbreaker.
Yeah, Warbreaker. Not one of his most well-respected, but still very interesting, I think. Oh, God. Hey, my quote is... This is when Kaladin's thinking about how people pay to become, or how people sometimes even choose to become bridgemen when they're very poor. Even a few men whose only sin had been poverty for joining the bridge crews. Those had joined the bridge crew out of desperation. The pay was good when compared with nothing, and they were promised that if they survived 100 bridge runs, they would be promoted. Assignment to a watch post, which, in the mind of a poor man, sounded like a life of luxury. Being paid to stand and look at things all day? What kind of insanity was that? It was like being rich almost. I really like that description. The being rich part especially. That you could just do what you do all day, but with a little more purpose and make any amount of money for it. You would feel like you were living in luxury. And I've had times where I've thought like that when money's not good and stuff like that. So I thought that was very, very funny description. And it makes me wonder either how poor Brandon Sanderson's been in his life or what he's seen when looking at poverty while traveling around and stuff. Because I know he's seen quite a bit. Of understanding what's in a man's mind like that. I've never seen a writer describe it that way because most writers don't know what it's like at the very bottom, even though they try to describe it. So I like that.
Yeah, to not have to work for a living.
To not have to work for a living by working for a living doing nothing, basically, Like, I've always thought security guard seems like a sweet job because you don't really do anything. So I think it's really funny to see him just say that, basically. But then it's followed up with, no one makes 100 bridge runs,
Yeah. It's rigged.
Mm-hmm.
And then mine is, Lyran and Kaladin talking about Rysn. Why do the people try so hard to please him? Cal asked of his father's back. Well, they never reacted this way around Bright Lord Wistio. They do it because Rysn is unappeasable. Cal frowned. Was that the wine talking? Cal's father turned, his eyes reflecting pure stormlight. In those eyes, Cal saw surprising lucidity. He wasn't so drunk after all. Bright Lord Wistio let the men do as they wished, and so they ignored him. Rysn lets them know he finds them contemptible, and so they scramble to please him. That makes no sense, Cal said. It's the way of things, Lyran said, playing with one of the spheres on the table, rolling it beneath his fingers. You have to learn this, Cal. When men perceive the world as being right, we are content. But if we see a hole, a deficiency, we scramble to fill it. This whole thing of like someone, if they, treat you, nicely, you just let it go. And if somebody's kind of mean to you, you just go out of your way to try to get in their good graces and whatnot. I think everyone has seen that, whether it's back in school, at work with a coworker, that sort of stuff. If you have like a mean boss, mean older student, you'll just try to please them and that sort of thing.
Yeah. I almost commented on that, but I thought somebody might pick it as the quote. I almost picked it too, because it's a really good thing. And then I thought that really makes me think of what Shalal's upbringing is like, why she's so eager to help and please her family.
Mm-hmm. That dynamic is very prevalent in families. I think that, the meanest person is going to be the one that gets what they want.
In society, yeah. And a little bit later, I think it says something along the lines of like his father really detesting that because they take the greatest kindness in humans, which is the desire to do things for others, and they pervert it into something horrible, which is do things for me, basically. So I think that's interesting. And being that was in a flashback, I expect to see more of that theme. Mm-hmm. I was wondering if Kaladin working so hard to make the bridge efficient was tied to that at all, but I don't think it is, now that I think about it more.
All right. Now let's just go a couple comments and stuff we've gotten. First, this will be from our Warbreaker 1-star reviews.
Oh, God.
From Koval Petro 28, where they decided to give us a 1-star review of our 1-star review episode.
Oh, no!
Here we go. The 3 hosts all have possible voices, but my God, do they use them to berate other people's opinions. All they do is laugh at honest grievances people have with the book, and they can't put themselves in position of other people. Maybe being white, generic Americans stop them from sympathizing with these honest people who are, pouring their whole soul into these reviews. Oh, and 2 men speaking about misogyny when the only woman on the podcast is allowed so little speaking time is very ironic and hypocritical. And then after that, they add, guys, I really enjoy your podcast. I hope you are having fun doing them, and my Mondays are more fantastic because of you. Thank you. P.S. Do not stop doing the 1-star reviews. And then added in, I really like the art for this episode.
Oh my God. Was that the Warbreaker Miku?
Yeah, yep, that was
okay.
Miku.
Yeah, partway through, that sounded like parody, so I'm glad to hear that part at the end, because I would be amazed to have somebody who writes the kind of reviews of that book write the kind of review of us. That was some solid stuff.
Yeah.
Well, don't talk, Sheta.
Oh.
I'll press the button when you're allowed to give a comment. Don't talk until I do.
So that means you press the button during the whole, during all the shipping stuff?
No, the button was broken. I couldn't stop it. It got stuck on talk.
All right. Next, we have a couple comments for The Way of Kings, chapters 22 through 25. First, from J. Ramirez 34. Wow, a pro Sadius take, and it's not a troll? This is going to be fun to watch play out.
Oh my God. She is dead serious about that.
Next one's from Reader Warrior. DC for the win!
Yeah, boy.
The beginning of the part showed that there wouldn't be any Shallan POVs in this one.
Yeah, didn't see those.
Yep. Chapter 22. I was lucky enough to attend the first World Hopper Ball, and it was in Roshar. They gave us a bag of spears as we entered to spend on food and drink, which is all themed.
Fun.
That's so fun.
That is so
So
fun.
the drink were labeled by color and were alcoholic, and we even got to keep the chalices.
That's
That's
cool.
so cool. I have to go to one of those. That sounds so fun.
All right. All I'm getting from Sheta is that she sides with literally every Klingon antagonist and hates Worf.
When did she say she hates Worf?
I think that's just coming from the siding with Sadeas stuff.
Yeah. Well, she's
and like,
so pro Alethi. I know you are, Sheta.
oh yeah,
I think they're pretty cool. You said earlier.
Okay.
Is Worf Dalinar then? I wonder.
Well, Worf
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know why you hate Worf. Worf still has that in him. He just holds it back for Starfleet.
He just goes and does some stuff in the
Yeah, gets out his murder rage in the holodeck.
Yeah.
No, so Sheta, here's the question. Do you like that aspect of Worf, or do you think he should just be running around killing
I
people all
love
the
that
time?
aspect of Worf.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
I think it's really admirable of him to want to go against his nature to do what he wants to do, which is be a Starfleet officer, you know.
That's something that I feel they definitely fixed with season 2 of Next Generation. Because if you watch season 1, it's like, yep, Worf's a Klingon, but he was not raised by any Klingons and doesn't act like a Klingon at all. And it's just like, what's the point of the character then?
Mm-hmm.
Tasha dying, I liked her a lot, but that was the best thing that could have possibly happened for Worf as a character.
Yeah, because then season 2, all of a sudden Worf, it's like, all right, he's a Klingon. He believes in the Klingon stuff, but he's in Starfleet. It's like, that's a much more interesting character than, yeah, he's a Klingon, but he's just going to act like all the humans.
Yeah, this isn't modern Star Trek.
Ugh, let's not get into that.
All right, then continuing. How did you get Sadeas the strategist before Sadeas the sadist?
Strategist. He's the one that came up with the bridge idea.
All right.
I'm sorry.
On to
Sadeas the baddiest.
I like that one.
Chapter 23. There is a tear in the sky, and all the stars.
What?
No idea.
I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be tear in the sky or tear in the sky. If it's a reference to something, I don't recognize it. I'd read the storms out of a Cosmere. What?
Oh, it sounds familiar. Just go on.
All right. I'd read the storms out of a Cosmere or just Bridge 4 Prank War.
Yeah, man. Be great.
You know, the elements of harmony fit strangely as a Sanderson magic system. I never thought I'd ask this, but which Stormlight character is key to which element of harmony? Kaladin is loyalty, I guess.
No,
Sheta,
what have you done?
Honesty, laughter, and kindness.
Yes, let's do it, Justin.
Don't let it become infectious.
Sheta, if you want, you can write this down and bring it up on next week's episode. We're not going to do it now.
Okay.
All right. And then after that he adds, what the heck am I doing with my life?
Thank God. At least you've got self-awareness.
You're living it to the fullest, my friend.
That's right. Yep.
Chapter 24. I don't think Dalinar says Sadeas has the best bridge system, just the fastest.
Sounds like the best.
All right. And then from the responses, Szeth, who cared for Vin in her emotional breakdowns, and who also had his own breakdown due to Tindwell's death, would not be able to reasonably talk/work with someone operating under emotions?
I never said that. I just said he's less emotional because he's more pragmatic. Or not pragmatic, more rational, logical. He's not pragmatic. That was incorrect.
Next is from Alcade946. New idea. The next time you need a filler episode, it can just be the Cosmere stand-up routine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, not just the Bridgeman. Let's get some stand-up jokes across all the books. See if I can make an hour set and get a Netflix special.
You could probably make some. You have those Bridgeman jokes. You could probably do similar things with the ska.
Oh God, you're right.
Man,
some racist ska jokes. Oh man.
Oof.
How many ska does it take to screw in a light bulb? Who cares? We've got plenty.
All right. Next
Why
comment.
Why did the ska cross the road? Guys, I'm not finishing that joke.
Dude.
Oh my
curious.
god!
Why, Justin? Why?
The punchline is Ska have no autonomy of their own, and I as a lord had certain feelings, and the Ska was trying to escape them. Okay, that's the. I'm not saying the joke.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's just go on to a comment from TechSoul5590. As someone who has spent a lot of time in the woods at night, the moon is the strongest source of light, sure. However, a clear moonless night provides a reasonable amount of light from the stars. Trust me, you notice the difference when it is overcast. It's the difference between seeing the shapes around you and feeling like you are completely blind.
That's true, yeah. I don't know how light works. However, yes, stars would provide light. That's true.
But then you would have the problem on Scadrial with mist being out at the same time. So how much that would
too.
affect your visibility in the light.
Well, do the stars illuminate the mist, maybe? It's some kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is mist normal fog, I wonder? I don't know.
It's kind of, well, but remember, it's also the body of a god, so that's why, like, if people burn tin, they could see through the mist better. When, if it was actual mist, that shouldn't happen. But since they're using the power of that mist, they can see through it.
Okay.
And then, last comment from Nin Brannon. If you were the king, would you trust your infamously brutal warlord uncle, who's responsible for your security and swears no one's trying to kill you? He's also started acting a lot like your father used to, and he wants to institute new controls over the whole army that supersede their leader's authority. Yeah, hard to find a reason to be suspicious of that.
I think there's a lot of reasons to be suspicious of it. I think that's absolutely right. I do think that those kind of thoughts are why he's becoming what I believe is dangerously paranoid. However, if you truly know somebody, even if they start to change, I feel like you should be able to see through a lot of those details, to see through like a family bond if he's being... But then I guess I don't know how well he knew him before this, so that is hard to say too. That's a good argument. I still think he's being paranoid, but that is a good justification for it. However, does he even realize, is he that rational with his thoughts? Is he that smart? That would be my question.
Now, looking forward to next week's episode, we will be reading 4 chapters. Chapters 32 through 35.
What? Just 2?
What?
I said 4.
Where'd you get 2, Sheta?
Oh, I get
32, 35. Sometimes. Oh my god, it's just 2 chapters. You're right. We know your mind's in the gutter with these ships, Sheta. You can't think straight.
It did get a little exciting there.
Oh god.
Okay. Yep. So that's where we'll leave it off. Like I said, 32 to 35. So everyone, for next week, read the chapters. There's Academy Awards are coming up. Maybe watch some of those nominated movies. I just watched Frankenstein. That movie was great. I recommend it.
Ooh, I might watch that tonight.
All right. Yep. So everyone, see y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Ta-ta.